This is Atomic Shinobi, and today I'm going to narrate a new story on what if Naruto was trained by 5th Mizukage during Chunin exams, part 1. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Now wasting no more time, let's start the story.
Streets in Konoha as he stormed down the street, scowling and calling people, stupid Kakashi. Naruto also called people, stupid Sasuke and stupid Sakura. I can do my training without you. Rewind 30 minutes prior, all three of them were thrilled to be acknowledged after their mission to the Land of Waves, and Kakashi had informed them that he had recommended them for the Chunin exams. Kakashi nodded as Naruto asked, "So, Kakashi-sensei, what do you intend to do with us? Like training us in super powerful jutsu to blow away the competition?" "Well, yes and no," Kakashi replied. "I am going to train Sasuke because he activated his Sharingan and that will be a valuable asset to you all," he replied. "Sakura will be joining us so I can help her brush up on her genjutsu," he explained. "However, Naruto, you are far behind the both of them that I think it will be unfair," Kakashi responded. "Well, how am I supposed to get better if I don't train?" a bewildered Naruto asked, drawing a smile from Kakashi. Raising the boy's spirits, Kakashi remarked, "Well, I got you a tutor, Naruto. Come on out, Ebisu." A Jonin with a bandana and shades materialized and took a position in front of Naruto. Ebisu said, "Hello again, Naruto," which caused Naruto to gesture with his finger. "You take Sasuke and Sakura, but leave me with this pervert," Naruto yelled, seriously, making Ebisu scowl. Naruto raised his hands and said, "Okay, I get it. You stick me with someone else because you don't want me. No one wants to train the dead last." Naruto started to walk away, and Kakashi said, "Now, that is not fair. I do want to help you, but, hey, where are you going?" As he left the training area, Naruto remarked, "Same shit different day. Favoring Sasuke and Sakura over me. I'll help myself then. Like I always do." Sasuke mocked, "What can a loser like you do? You will always be the dead last, and I will always be the elite," he spoke with arrogance. Sakura remarked, "Ha, what a fool." Naruto heard this and simply continued to move forward. Flashback concludes. "Dumbass sensei," said Naruto, "he always does this. He prefers the golden boy and Sakura over me. I've seen him and Sasuke train after the team is dismissed," he stated. He started, "I'll show them all," but then he bumped into something, and when he looked up after falling, he realized that he had actually bumped into someone. There was a stunning woman wearing a blue dress and a light pink lipstick, her long auburn hair covering one eye. Naruto stood up and bowed after realizing that she was the most stunning woman he had ever seen. Naruto started, "I'm so sorry, miss. I wasn't paying attention and but stopped when he heard the woman laugh. "It's quite okay," she said. "Are you okay?" she inquired. Naruto then gave a pout. "No," he replied, "my stupid sensei is favoritism again. He prefers to train my two other teammates and leave me behind. I was going to train on my own because I have to participate in the Chunin exams in 1 month," he stated. The woman spoke as her eyes widened. "Is that correct?" she asked. "If it's okay with you, may I ask what your name is?" Then Naruto grinned. Naruto Uzumaki stated, "And you better remember it because I'm going to be the next Hokage of this village. That's the top ninja of the village if you didn't already know," he replied. The female laughed. "Well, I'm not from this village so I didn't know," she replied. "Well, I hope you succeed in your quest, Naruto," she responded. She said, "Oh, my, how rude of me. Try not to forget it either. My name is May Terumi," to which Naruto nodded. May chuckled as Naruto remarked, "I probably won't," adding, "You are probably the prettiest woman I've ever seen." May remarked, "Such a flatterer." "Well then, have a nice day, Naruto," she said, starting to leave. May thought as she started to walk to the Hokage tower, "Lord Hokage, looks like we have more than an alliance to talk about," as her face became serious when she was far enough away. The following day, as Naruto made his way to the Hokage tower, he received word from an Anbu that the Hokage had asked for him. As Naruto ascended the tower, he wondered what the old man desired. When he reached the Hokage's office doors, he went inside. Naruto joyfully said, "I'm here, old man. What can I do for you?" Hiruzen said, "Naruto, I was just talking about you," as he saw his surrogate grandson. He also noticed two other people when Naruto entered. The first featured a blue-haired man wearing an eye patch who appeared irritated, while the second featured a well-known face. May, Naruto exclaimed as he approached. How's it going? What are you doing here with G? G? He inquired, perplexed, causing the woman to chuckle at his directness. The eyepatch man started, Don't talk to Lady Terumi like that, boy. She is an important figure and I will not stand for. But May put a hand on his shoulder. With a sweet smile, she said, Ow, shut up or I'll kill you. The man paled at that. She told the boy, Naruto, to ignore him. I'm happy to see you too, essentially ignoring the one-eyed man's threat. Naruto. Hiruzen stated that attracting the attention of the boys. May here is an important figure from Kiri. She is the leader of the rebel army that just ended the civil war. She is also the next person to become the Mizukage. She is here for a few weeks to establish diplomatic relations with our village, he stated. Then, in a show of humility, Naruto knelt down and said, I'm sorry to talk to you like that, Miss May. He was perspiring as he said, I didn't know you were royalty. Please don't draw and quarter me. Wonderful, I offended a global leader, he thought to himself, his stomach sinking into his throat. The village won't kill me, it will be her. I'm not here to get you in trouble, May exclaimed, causing Naruto to look perplexed. I'm here to train you, May continued, causing Naruto to widen his eyes. May handed Naruto a piece of paper and said, Here. Naruto nodded and May asked him to please pump his chakra into it. After injecting the paper with chakra, Naruto caused it to split in half and turn soggy. Excellent, May remarked. He'll do fantastic, he had a water affinity. Excellent for what? Inquired a curious Naruto. Naruto. Hiruzen stated that part of the alliance we discussed was for both villages to trade jutsu and training techniques, according to him. We were going to let someone like Kakashi or another Chunin trade our fire jutsu for their water jutsu, but May had an idea. He stated, after you told her about your team basically handing you off, she decided that a solution to both problems could be handled. Said he. My son Asuma will instruct Ao here on fire jutsu for recording while May here will teach you water style jutsu and you record for us, he stated. So you're saying I'm going to be trained by someone super duper strong and all I got to do is record it down, Naruto said, looking between Hiruzen and May. They both nodded. Hell yeah, Naruto exclaimed. I get a badass teacher to teach me. Then I can kick ass in the Chunin exams. He then grabbed May and pulled her into an embrace. May noticed Naruto's happiness as she looked down. He's so cute, so innocent, so happy. Not like Ao, she thought, who's a complete stick in the mud. Okay, Naruto, I get it, I'm awesome, May exclaimed, showing off herself. Satisfaction. Naruto released his grip and gave her a curious look. May smiled as Naruto asked, when do we start, May-sensei? May sternly stated, first, since those are the two things I detest the most, you won't complain or whine. Naruto nodded, and Hiruzen and Ao began to perspire. Second, we will start training tomorrow. So, go home and get some rest, she stated. We will be training at training ground too. The one with the big lake in the middle, and Naruto responded with a nod. All right, Naruto exclaimed. He turned to leave and asked, skeptically, do you think that 1 month of training will be enough? Hiruzen sighed, Naruto, and said, make a shadow clone and walk out of the room. Naruto followed Hiruzen's instructions and left. After giving the clone a quick glance, Hiruzen killed it with a kunai throw. Naruto arrived shortly after. What the heck, gee. Halted, then, wait, how did Naruto started. Shadow clones can transfer memories, Naruto. Hiruzen continued, how do you think I do all my paperwork, grocery shopping and attend meetings all the time? You know you really should have read the scroll when you learned the technique, he replied. Scratching the back of his head, Naruto blushed. Naruto laughed and said, whoops, my bad. As he left the room, Naruto said, okay then. Bye May-sensei. Bye G. G. Bye eyepatch guy. Thanks for all the help. My name is Ao, he yelled, but it had no effect. Little shit, he added, earning himself a slap on the back of May's head. After a few hours as he ascended the stairs to the Hokage's office, Kakashi thought to himself, I wonder what the Lord wants. As he entered the room, Kakashi Hitaki reporting, he was stopped by the Hokage's declaration of murderous intent. You're 3 hours late, Kakashi, Hiruzen angrily remarked. Sit down and shut up, he added. Kakashi took a seat and looked directly at Hiruzen. Is it true that you are training Sasuke and Sakura for the Chunin exams? He inquired. Yes, sir, Kakashi trembled. Is it true that you, his sensei, pawned him off on Ebisu for training? He replied. Yes, sir, Kakashi said, growing increasingly tense. In an attempt to control his temper, Hiruzen addressed himself as Kakashi and asked, "What did I tell you about favoritism? I told you to train your 3 students as equals. So why did you ignore my orders?" As Lord Hokage, Kakashi started speaking, he was cut off by Hiruzen slamming his fist into the desk, sending shockwaves throughout the room. Sasuke has the Sharingan and requires extra tutoring. Sakura is a genjutsu prodigy and need to have her skills honed. Naruto, however, has trouble with the most basic techniques. He needs to learn the basics before I. It's your job to teach him the basics. You are his sensei, said Hiruzen. I was able to find a teacher who was willing to teach him, but that does not excuse your failure. Hiruzen yelled. Hiruzen returned to his seat. When Naruto attends the Chunin exams and gets promoted, he will no longer be a part of your team. He will be better off on another team and better off without another sensei kneecapping him in his career, he stated. Hiruzen didn't realize that the academy instructors, aside from Iruka, were undermining Naruto until after he turned genin. To ensure that this didn't happen again, Hiruzen fired and demoted every one of them. What do you mean when he becomes a Chunin Lord Hokage? Replied Kakashi. There is no way that Naruto can improve in such a short amount of time, he replied. Hiruzen then developed a menacing expression. Hiruzen made Kakashi pale by saying, "Oh, I'm 100% sure he'll be promoted. And just to give you a little incentive, if he becomes a Chunin, so will you." Hiruzen said, causing Kakashi's eye to widen. If Naruto turns into a Chunin, I'll be demoting you. And just to make it even sweeter, he'll be your new commanding officer. You better hope that that doesn't happen. So, you better step up your team's training. They're going to need it, he said with a nod. All. Kakashi started, Yes, Lord Hokage. When Kakashi refused to move, Hiruzen yelled, "Now god damn it," and Kakashi bounded out of the room. "Get the fuck out of my office," Hiruzen said, dismissing him. The following day, eager to begin his day, Naruto ate ramen and juice for breakfast after getting out of bed early. Naruto uttered the words, "Hee, training day," as he unlocked his door and left. A voice that Naruto wished he didn't have to hear said, "Hey Naruto." Naruto turned to face Kakashi, who grinned and said, "Yo. What the hell do you want?" An irritated Naruto exclaimed. "Hey, I wanted to apologize for what happened 2 days ago," Kakashi said, thinking, "Oh boy, he hates me." Before Naruto interrupted, Kakashi said, "I know I messed up and..." Naruto walked past Kakashi and said, "Save it. I have a sensei now, a real sensei. Now you can take your apology and whatever else you have to say and shove it." "Just you watch," Naruto replied. "I'm going to compete in the exams. Kick Sasuke's ass, sweep Sakura off her feet and make you look like a chump," he replied. "What is it that your new sensei has that I don't?" inquired Kakashi. With his head held high, Naruto said, "Now if you don't mind, I have to meet my super awesome, true sensei. She is strong as hell, smart, nice to me, and kind of hot too." Excellent, Kakashi thought to himself. It seems like I should step up both Sasuke's and Sakura's training. He then glanced at his watch. Kakashi yelled, "Crap, I'm 3 hours late," before vanishing into a whirl of leaves. At the second training ground, May was waiting for Naruto in the center of the training area. He was running a few minutes behind schedule. With a slight frown on his face, Naruto entered the training area at that precise moment. "Naruto," May questioned gravely, "why are you late?" Naruto gave off a sheepish look. Before getting upset once more, Naruto apologized to May-sensei. "Kakashi stopped me and tried to apologize to me and stuff," Naruto said after May calmed down. "He was spouting some crap about being sorry and other stuff. So I told him to piss off," said Naruto. "I told him my super strong and super cool sensei is going to train me and I'm going to kick Sasuke's ass," said Naruto. At this, May grinned and said, "Well, let's not let him down then. Now what jutsu do you know?" May continued. Thought Naruto, shadow clones, henge, replacement, walking on trees, and the seductive jutsu. May uttered incoherently, "Sexy jutsu," and Naruto nodded. "May I ask what that is?" she said. Naruto nodded and made the hand gesture. "Yes. Transform, he yelled. In a puff of smoke, Naruto materialized as an 18-year-old girl with prominent breasts, well-defined hips, a charming countenance, and long hair styled in 2 pigtails. I invented this jutsu on my own, Naruto declared. May was taken aback by this, and then 4 Kiri Anbu unexpectedly fell from the trees, startling Naruto and causing him to look around. Who the hell are those guys? Naruto exclaimed in a girlish tone. May irritatedly said, my bodyguards were supposed to guard us and not let in any intruders, elite soldiers who got knocked out by a naked girl. She pinched the bridge of her nose. Then, May approached Naruto and said, I don't know why this jutsu exists, reaching out, but, May then grabbed Naruto's breasts, causing him to scream. Naruto yelled, "Aw, stop it," before releasing the jutsu and returning to his usual demeanor. When I'm in that jutsu, my girl parts are sensitive, he exclaimed. May yelled, holy shit, that was real. I thought it was an illusion. You're telling me you can actually shapeshift into a woman? Naruto nodded in agreement. Not just that, replied Naruto, reverse sexy jutsu, just before changing into a different, attractive version of himself that seemed to belong in a boy band. Naruto asked with a sly grin, what do you think, May? And then he saw May with blood on her nose and hearts in her eyes. May, panting, said, well, I don't think that the just you isn't all bad. Naruto laughed and undid the just you. May slapped her forehead, looking a little disappointed and saying, damn it, I'm 21, not some fangirl out of the academy. In the vicinity of Konoha Tenten, Sakura Haruno, Ino Yamanaka, and Hinata Hyuga all sneezed simultaneously. Returning with Naruto and May. All right, Naruto, since your sensei, for want of a better term, hasn't really taught you anything, I have an idea, May said. Make 39 clones of yourself, she said, drawing eager glances from Naruto. May nodded as 39 clones appeared after Naruto said, yes ma'am, and waved his hand. May gestured, okay, my turn. Water clone jutsu, she said, and 3 water clones appeared. Whoa, Naruto exclaimed, you performed the same jutsu Zabuza used, causing May to widen her eyes. May said, Zabuza. Zabuza Momochi, and Naruto nodded. Yeah, the guy with the big-ass sword and no eye. Brows, said Naruto. I fought him in Wave with his partner Haku. Kinda crazy, but he was cool. He died on the bridge when we fought for the last time, he replied. May asked, Naruto, where exactly is Zabuza's sword? And Naruto gave her pensive look. Naruto said, on his grave, and then he asked, why is that the east side of the bridge going to the village there? May turned to face an Anbu who was getting to his feet then. Oh Dolphin! May exclaimed with joy as he hurried over. Would you please mark the grave so we can gather his body and bring it back to Kiri? Could you be a deer and go to Wave to collect Zabuza's sword and bring it back here? May asked. Speaking up, Naruto remarked, and Haku too. Without Haku, I wouldn't be here. He was his partner. May pleaded, and Haku too, please. Dolphin said, yes, ma'am, before vanishing into a whirlpool of water. Very cool, Naruto remarked. Okay then Naruto. May replied. I'm going to split you and your clones up into 4 groups of 10. I'm going to teach you 3 techniques and see how you spar, she stated. Curious, Naruto asked, which techniques? Water walking, water clones and water bullets. She continued, all relatively easy and will be a good starting point. You stay with me and the rest of you split up and go to opposite sides of the lake, May replied. After May and Naruto's clones parted ways, May turned to face her group of 10 Narutos. Okay, we're going to spar, she said, all 10 of you will attack me at once. Make more clones if you have to. But we are not going to stop until you are too tired to move. She then assumed her taijutsu stance. Bring it on. After 4 hours, holy shit, May exclaimed, deflecting and dispersing another punch from a Naruto clone. Are you tired yet? She inquired, and the real Naruto answered. May moaned as Naruto said, I'm a little hungry. May said, sounding a little impressed, you hit me 10 times during the entire spar. Yet you are not even breathing heavily. May said, okay, stop. Please, she said, gasping for air. Damn, I finished my fight with Yagura faster than this spar, she thought to herself. Okay Naruto, that's enough. May responded. Disperse all your clones and let's see the results, she responded. After releasing all of his clones, Naruto uttered the words, "Okay May-sensei," and collapsed to the ground as the world went dark. "Naruto, Naruto, Ruto," May yelled, swaying the young man. "Oh," Naruto moaned, "Huh. What happened? Oh my head. I guess dispersing your clones all at once overloaded you," May replied. "You've been out for 10 minutes. Can you remember anything?" May replied. Naruto gave a nod. "I believe so," he stated. May replied, "Okay, then, go try the water walking exercise on the lake." "Okay. Naruto, focus." Naruto stood up and moved in the direction of the lake. He then focused his chakra and took one step onto the lake, then another, and another. As he started to dance, Naruto exclaimed, "Hey, look at that. I can walk on water now. What's next?" Naruto halted his speech. May uttered, "Make 3 water clones." As he made his way through the hand signals, Naruto yelled, "Copy that," and 3 water clones materialized. "Wow," Naruto exclaimed, glancing at one of them. "I can tell a slight difference between my shadow clones and the water clones, but when I make them, they both feel the same." May said, "Okay, now shoot them with the water bullet jutsu," and Naruto nodded in agreement. He made the single-handed gesture, water bullet jutsu, and said, "Okay, here goes nothing." Naruto then spit out 3 water bullets that hit the clones. The 3 clones were struck and launched back into the water. Naruto exclaimed, "Hey, it worked. That's pretty neat," he laughed. May grinned, thinking, this training is perfect for him. Oh boy, I can't wait to see him in action in the Chunin exams. He completed 3 techniques in one afternoon, May said. Though his taijutsu could use some more refinement, May reasoned that he shouldn't have any trouble given his stamina. "I think this will be a good stopping point. Don't want to overwork you," May said, gesturing to Naruto to run off the lake and stand in front of her. "Ah. Okay," a slightly disillusioned Naruto said, while May gave a quick nose flick. May comforted Naruto, saying, "Don't be sad. You did better than I thought you would. You still have almost a whole month to train. You got plenty of time." "All right," he exclaimed. Then it occurred to him, "Hey, you want to go eat at Ichiraku's with me?" May looked perplexed. Naruto asked. May said, "Ichiraku's, what do they serve there?" "Ramen. The world's greatest food," said Naruto. "My treat, I get 1 free bowl with every purchase," he replied. May regarded this for a moment, thoughtful. She asked, "Is there a seafood option?" And Naruto nodded. May looked interested when Naruto remarked, "Yeah, they have crab, shrimp, squid, clam, oyster, or the sea of fire bowl with everything in it." Naruto led May to his favorite restaurant, saying, "Okay, let's go. Lead the way." Naruto was excited to have a new sensei, learn new jutsu, and eat his favorite food. Naruto thought, "I think things are starting to look up." 2 weeks prior to the Chunin exams, Konoha, 198, 199, 200 inches. Naruto exhaled as he completed his last push. Up. The weight of May's seat and Zabuza's executioner's blade were supporting him at the moment. May had chosen to wear a tracksuit and athletic sandals instead of her typical attire in order to have some fun while training Naruto. May exclaimed, "Great job, Naruto," as she got off of him and somewhat lighter. She then pulled out her notepad and wrote, "Okay, a 20-mile run, jutsu practice with me and Ao, sword practice with Kojiro, 200 push-ups, pull-ups, sit-ups, and squats. Now we can end the day with a 25-mile run." With a sigh, "Yes, May-sensei," Naruto stood up. In the last 2 weeks, he has undergone some slight change, and his special guest's advanced healing has been of great assistance. Because of his training with Zabuza's sword and his exercises, he had more defined arms and a larger chest. He also appeared to have gained a little more muscle mass because May had advised him to eat more to ensure he had enough energy to keep up. May spun around and yelled, "Ow, hurry the hell up," as he was tying rocks to his ankles and finishing his pull-ups with a tree. "Kami above, I finished all my 200 before all of you. Naruto is a genin and he's making you look bad," May added. Ao performed another pull up and said, "Yes, Lady May, but I'm getting up in years. I'm not as young as I used to be." May laughed that off. She turned to face Kojiro and asked him sweetly, "Kojiro, are you almost done?" before brushing off the man with one eye. "I've finished my exercises, Lady May," Kojiro said. completing his squats and raising his Soto sword above his head. 199. 200. I've almost finished, he said, approaching her on wobbly legs. I lost to you, Naruto. I'll try better next time, Chojuro grinned as he stood next to Naruto. Hey, come on man, you did good, have a little more confidence in yourself. Naruto playfully punched him in the arm. If you try hard at something, you'll succeed eventually, he added. May put a hand on their shoulders and grinned upon hearing this. Good work the both of you. She sweetly replied. You both make me so proud. I can't wait to see the fruits of your labor once we are done with our training, she concluded. Then she turned around and walked over to the struggling man, saying, Ow, hurry the fuck up. Kami above the Chunin exams are going to start by the time you're done. Notwithstanding the abuse directed at Ao, Naruto remarked, May-sensei is so nice isn't she? Chojuro added, and she has such a wonderful smile. Since Chojuro was the only devoted member of the 7 ninja swordsmen, he was the ideal person to help Naruto wield Zabuza's blade. Naruto and Chojuro became close friends as soon as he arrived in Konoha to support Naruto in his training. Even though Chojuro was a genin and still a student of the 7 swordsmen, he was still a great assistance to Naruto. Naruto knew that he could be very close to using the sword skillfully after another 2 weeks with Chojiro's assistance. Okay boys, May said sweetly, since Ao here is acting like a little bitch, she walked over and dragged a half-dead Ao. I'll carry him for the run. He weighs about 220 pounds so he is about 20 or 30 pounds short of your sword's weight but I think it'll do, May said to the moaning man. You guys are set, she exclaimed. As they raised their blades, the 2 boys exclaimed, We're ready, May-sensei. As they started their run, she said in a sing-song voice, Off we go. Alongside Kakashi as he stood on the shore, Kakashi remarked, You two are doing good. Sakura and Sasuke, on the other hand, were standing in the middle of a lake, employing the water walking technique they had learned the day before. In order to increase their chakra reserves, Kakashi has them stand in the middle of the lake with a large rock in their arms. They have spent the last 4 hours outside. Sakura whimpered, Kakashi-sensei, is it okay if I take a break? I have to, you know. Go, blushing. Is it number 1 or number 2? Kakashi inquired, liking her. She started, 1, but Kakashi cut her off. I don't see how, she said, perplexed. Then walk like 20 paces away from Sasuke and go while holding the rock, Kakashi stated blandly. Imagine the lake underneath you as one big toilet, he stated. Sakura was staring at Kakashi as if she were insane, and he wanted her to leave, in front of him and Sasuke, that is. Sasuke placed the rock on his right shoulder and turned to walk away before Sakura could see anything. He then turned to face Sakura and spoke. Embarrassed, Sasuke said, Can you look away? I can't go when people are watching. He began removing his belt with his left hand. I'm lucky to be left-handed, Sasuke pondered. Later on in the evening, at Ichiraku's Chojuro was still eating his first bowl of ramen, but Naruto and May were devouring their bowls like there was no tomorrow. They both finished their bowls by slurping the broth and slamming them onto the counter. Please, another bowl, the two said. Tucci laughed and got ready to make another bowl. May grinned as Tucci responded, Of course, I mean hey buy all you want, thanks again, Naruto, I got my second best customer because of you. May was given a per diem for food and lodging because she was an ambassador, but they had expected her to be dining at fancier establishments rather than a ramen stand for the previous 2 weeks. What can I say, I'm hooked, May replied. I swear if you ever want to franchise your restaurant let me know. I'll pay and all I ask is that you put one in Kiri down the street from my office, she said with a chuckle. Alright, I'll remember that, Tucci remarked, setting down 2 additional bowls in front of May and Naruto. Ayame entered the store in a foul mood and moaned, Ugh! Why do men suck so bad? She exclaimed as she took a seat. Ayame lamented, God, are there any good men left in this village? If you plan a date, you show up. May asked, looking worried, What's wrong, Ayame? He stood you up? And Ayame nodded. Yeah, it just sucks. Ayame replied, and now I got 2 movie tickets that are going to go to waste, she responded. May, who was looking dejected, suddenly had an idea. Chojuro, she said, grabbing the boy's attention. You don't have a girlfriend back in Kiri, do you? She added, to which Chojuro responded with a shake of his head. No, I don't, Chojiro replied, bowing his head. The majority of the girls in Kiri are sword squids. They like me only because I'm an apprentice to the 7 swordmen. May greeted Ayame with a smile and said, I have a cute, single, sweet, and younger guy for you to go to the movies with. Ayame widened her eyes, and Chojiro flushed and twitched. Chojiro stammered, well, and that's when Naruto grabbed him and Ayame and pulled them from the store. As he made his way back inside, Naruto wished his date a fun time. Ayame grinned as she turned to face the trembling and anxious Chojiro. She said, well, shall we go, Chojiro, which caused Chojiro to grin. He said, okay, Ms. Ayame. Can we hold hands? With trepidation. Okay, cutie, let's go, Ayame remarked as she took Chojiro's hand and led him to the theater. Ah, he's shy, how cute, she thought to herself. After a short while after their meals, Naruto and May departed from Ichiraku's. At the moment, Naruto was escorting May back to her hotel, which was fortunately close to his apartment. Good job today, Naruto. May replied, over the past 2 weeks you have improved so much, and I can only see you getting better and better, she replied. Naruto spoke, smiling. Well, it's all thanks to you, May-sensei, Naruto replied, before I only had 5 people I can count on. Iruka, Konohamaru, Old Man Tucci and Ayame. My team treated me like dog shit and nobody from the academy ever gave me the time of day, he replied. He turned to face her at that point and said, but now I got you, Chojiro, and even Ao. May, you are one of my favorite people, and I appreciate everything you have done for me. May grinned and wiped away a tear before giving Naruto a hug and pressing his head against her chest. Thank you, Naruto. I'm happy to call you one of my precious people too, May said. May looked at Naruto after he broke the hug. You know tomorrow is our off day. How about you come with me and watch some movies in my room? It's free, she said, grinning. After giving it some thought, Naruto nodded and said, okay, nothing scary. I don't like scary movies, May laughed. May said, okay, nothing scary, as the two entered. After several hours the sounds of battle reverberated around 6-year-old May as she and her mother ran through a burning village. They ran into an abandoned house as another explosion burst. After hearing footsteps, her mother started looking around and eventually located an obscure crawlspace where she placed May. Her mother called her, May sweetie, adding, whatever happens, don't come out, as she covered the crawlspace. 5 shinobi who were loyal to Kiri suddenly kicked in the door. The leader called out, there she is. Get that bloodline freak. The Kiri ninja then grabbed May's mother and prepared to kill her. One of the men said, wait, hold up. Let's have some fun first. The other men concurred. Then, while May cried out and struggled, they started ripping off her mother's clothes. When the Kiri ninja had finished raping her mother, one of them stood up and raised his sword above his head, while May lay there in the crawl suppressing her cries. And he took the woman's life with a single blow. Well, that was fun, he said, let's move on. Until his head was severed from his body. All 5 ninja fell dead in a blur of black, and 2 people wearing black body armor with the Konoha symbol on the shoulder pads and an Enbu mask stood in the middle, staring down at the dead woman. At that moment, one of them sheathed a sword and started to move toward the crawl space where May was hiding. As the ninja moved the board covering the area where they were speaking, May started to panic even more because she was scared and started crying. The speaker said, little girl, May, he repeated. Alongside Naruto screamed, May, wake up damn it, in an attempt to startle the sobbing woman. May immediately woke up and started to look around frantically. May called out, Mommy, not paying attention to anything around her. Naruto then grabbed her head and forced her to look at him. May, it's me, Naruto, he said, what's wrong? You were crying and... He started. But May buried her face in his chest and started crying uncontrollably, so Naruto, unsure of what to do, put his arms around her and held her. Then, thinking of May, he started to stroke her back in a way that reminded him of when he was a child. Outside the chamber as one of the few people who really knew May Terumi, Ao stood outside the door and listened to the events inside. He had been her military advisor since she began leading the rebels at the age of 14, so he was aware of her night terrors, which came and went and changed every time. The death of her mother, the battle against Yagura, the people she led to their deaths, the people who damned her to hell. As he listened to Naruto console May, He began walking back to his own room, thinking, thank you, brat, and looks like there are two people who can handle that dreadful job. Usually, he was the one to calm her down, mostly by using a genjutsu on her to make her go back to sleep. 2 days subsequently in the training ground by themselves, Naruto and May stood side by side awkwardly, having not seen each other since the night Naruto woke her from her nightmare. Ao and Kojiro had to go show Hiruzen some jutsu. May started to say, Naruto, about what happened that night. Well, but before she could finish, Naruto raised his hand. You don't need to explain anything to me, and if you do, it should be when you're ready, Naruto reassured him. Naruto said, and when you are, I'll listen. May gave a small smile in response. Jaku Danyo is the best sour mash whiskey in Kiri. May smiled as she produced 2 glasses and 3 bottles of whiskey. Okay, Naruto. Thank you. Now, on with your training. May made hand gestures and used an earth jutsu to create a table and chairs. This excited Naruto. Pointed and uttered in confusion, Naruto said. May poured 2 glasses of whiskey and sat down. Your next training is something we do for our Anbu, she said. I'm going to create water clones and you have to fight them drunk. It'll simulate fighting poisoned. May held up her glasses. Okay, what the hell, Naruto said. Cheers, May-sensei, and they both took a sip of their drinks. Okay, Naruto said skeptically. Then he sat down, smelled the whiskey, and gagged. Oh god, my first drink. As he watched his host get intoxicated for the first time, the Kyuubi thought, I usually protect him from poisons but I kinda want to see what happens he. A certain 9-tailed demon inside Naruto was laughing. After an hour as Hiruzen, Ao, and Kojiro entered the training area in search of May and Naruto, they noticed 2 empty whiskey bottles and one that was only halfway full. After getting up and approaching the elderly man with a glass of whiskey, Naruto stumbled and cried, When hell are you going to tell me about my parents? Slurring as he swayed back and forth in front of Hiruzen. Hiruzen thought, oh god almighty, he's completely hammered. Ayo, May exclaimed, taking a gulp straight from the bottle. Get some more whiskey and some chips while you're at it, she cried. Ao pinches the bridge of his nose and says, Lady May. May yelled, hey Naruto, fight with those 3. I'm too drunk to spar. She uttered, just like, don't kill them or some shish. Tea, and then took another swig of whiskey. Naruto said, drawing his sword, okay, as he turned to face the 3 moving targets in front of him. As Naruto charged at them, Hiruzen, Ao, and Kojiro thought, shit. The 3 dispersed and attempted to defend themselves. After 2 hours. With Naruto after bringing an unconscious and restrained Naruto into his apartment, Hiruzen and one of his Anbu threw him onto the bed while he was still wearing the wooden restraints. To the masked Anbu, Hiruzen said, thanks for helping Tenzo. Tenzo answered, no problem, Lord Hokage. If it's okay with you, may I ask how he did? Half a training ground destroyed. He stated, he didn't land a hit on me but still quite impressive for someone his age, said he. Tenzo remarked, kids are chakra monsters. Just think of how powerful he'd be in a few years. Hiruzen nodded. It's about time, Hiruzen remarked as he closed and locked the door, leaving a sleeping Naruto. One can only imagine, he remarked as he and Tenzo started to walk out. Good night, Naruto, he added. I think I'll tell you about your parents once the exams are over. Alongside May arrived at her hotel room carrying a bottle of whiskey and a bag of chips. I can do whatever I want, she thought to herself, I'm a big girl, as she took another swig of the whiskey. When they eventually got May to settle down and go back to her room, Ao and Kojiro were huffing. Ao declared, I'm too old for this shit, while he and Kojiro watched over the door to make sure May didn't get out. Afterwards, in May's dream back in Kiri, May was standing atop the Mizukage tower, watching the crowd below her with cheers. May Terumi, the new Mizukage of Kirigakure, is here, Ao declared, putting the Mizukage hat on May's head. Ao shook Lady May's hand and said, congratulations. May grinned and said, thank you, Ao. Kojiro then approached. I'm delighted to be working under you, Lady Mizukage, he remarked, to which May nodded and grinned. May turned to face the final person and said, and I'm glad to have you here as the leader of the 7 Swordsmen Kojiro. Naruto was standing there with a foxy grin and a Kiri headband. As he stepped closer, Naruto exclaimed, congratulations, my love, I know you can do it, and I'll be right here by your side every step of the way. May encircled him in her arms and planted a kiss on him, saying, "Oh honey." A girl in the crowd shrieked, "Oh my god, Lady Mizukage and the first gentleman are kissing." Another person commented, "Ah, what a cute couple." May and Naruto then broke their kiss and waved to the audience, who applauded. Alongside May, when May opened her eyes, she realized that everything had been a dream. "Oh god, I think I drank too much," she thought to herself. "Naruto honey, can you get me a water and aspirin?" She rubbed her temples. "Oh shit," May exclaimed as her eyes widened to the size of dinner plates and she realized what she had just said. Training area. 3 days prior to the Chunin examinations. As soon as Naruto yelled, "Water style, water vortex jutsu," a water vortex formed and was directed to the opposite side of the lake, where 4 dummies were placed. After tearing apart the dummies with a forceful vortex, Naruto grinned and turned to face May and Ao on the shore. "May," Naruto yelled. "How was that?" May responded by waving and speaking. May exclaimed, "That was perfect, Naruto. Come back to the shore. I think we're good for the day." May felt her heartbeat quicken, but Naruto nodded and started to walk back to the shore. She tried a lot of things, but she still can't get that dream out of her head since it happened 2 weeks ago. She asked Naruto to stop referring to her as sensei and made several attempts to emphasize to him how excellent a student he was, but to no avail. Ao noticed her discomfort and said, "May, what's wrong with you? He's 8 years younger than you, he'll find the idea gross." He said, "Lady May, is everything okay?" And May winced. "Ow. May stammered, appearing flustered. She started, looking at Naruto in a flustered manner. "Okay," Naruto exclaimed, "I know I'm ready to take on the Chunin exams, so what's next, huh? Ramen, please. Films. How about this?" Naruto started, but May stopped her. "Sorry Naruto, I have to go," May replied. "I have to talk to the Hokage about something. Let's go eat ramen later, okay?" she responded. "Well, it's just you and me, Ao," Naruto said, grinning. "Okay, that's fine, have fun, May replied, feeling her heart tighten. She then disappeared in a whirlpool of water. He apologized and said, "Sorry, Naruto. I have to go take care of some business myself." Naruto understood, and Ao disappeared into a swirl of water, leaving Naruto by himself. As he was running out of the training grounds, Naruto thought to himself, May is acting kind of weird. He then had an idea. "I know she's probably feeling a little sad that the training is coming to an end. I'll go get her something to cheer her up." Streets in Konoha. Naruto wondered what could cheer May up. "Man, I don't know jack about women. What can I get her?" he thought to himself. A voice said, "Hey Naruto." Naruto spun around to see Kiba approaching him while 2 women were by his side. Naruto called out to Kiba, his former academy classmate. "Kiba, hey. What are you doing here?" he asked, to which Kiba responded with a sigh. "I'm going shopping with my mom and my sister," Kiba remarked, "or more like I'm going to be the one carrying all the bags while they shop." Naruto nodded, then turned to face the 2 women at his side before surveying his surroundings. Naruto asked, perplexed, "Oh, where's your mom, Kiba? I see your sisters, but not your mom." Kiba gave him a crazy look in response. Kiba pointed to the woman on his left and said, "My mom is right here." Kiba's mom had purple lipstick on, short, spiky brown hair, and red fang tattoos on her cheeks. Kiba burst out laughing as Naruto yelled, "What? No way, she's your mom. She's too pretty and looks too young to be your mom." "Ha ha ha. My mom, pretty," Kiba chuckled. "Get your eyes checked, please." Kiba was struck in the head and knocked to the ground before he could say anything more. The other woman rolled her eyes and glanced at Naruto as Sume yelled, "Shut it, runt." She then turned to face him with a warm and friendly smile, saying, "I'm Sume by the way, and thank you for the compliment, Naruto. I try to stay in shape and look my best, 36 years old and I can still turn heads." Sume struck a pose. "Hana, I'm Kiba's sister. I apologize, my brother is a bit of a fool," Hana said, and Naruto nodded. "Hey, nice to meet you both," Naruto said. "Sorry, I can't talk right now. Hold on." He paused, then turned to face the 2 women. "Wait, I have a question for the 2 of you," he said, drawing their attention. "Okay, what is it?" inquired Hana. "You 2 are attractive, mature women," Naruto declared frank. They both responded, "Yes, please continue," showing off their flushes at the compliment. I'm looking to get a present for someone. She's super strong, but also very pretty and nice, Naruto replied. What do you think she would like to make her feel better? I think she's a little sad, he replied. After a moment of thoughtfulness, Tsume said, you can never go wrong with flowers. She also recalled her late husband, saying, my late hubby used to buy me flowers every week until he passed. Hana said, oh, you can get her favorite food too. Does she drink alcohol? To which Naruto nodded. Well, then buy her some sake too. My favorite flavors are strawberry and blueberry, because I like sweets, Hana continued. Alright. Food, sake, flowers. It's understood, Naruto grinned. Thanks for your assistance, Tsume, Hana. Have a great day, and he turned to leave. Gazing through a store window, Tsume remarked, hot older woman huh. Maybe I should go back into the game. I could probably find a new husband if I tried, Tsume remarked. Tsume nodded and Hana said, hey mom, let's go do some clothes shopping. You know, style ourselves a little. I'm not sure if he was hitting on us or just really clueless about what he says, but he did make her feel good. What a great idea, Tsume exclaimed as she dragged her protesting son outside to pick up Kiba, who had just regained consciousness. Let's go Runt, we got shopping to do, Tsume said. Damn it Naruto, Kiba cried as he was being hauled off, you just made my day worse. Yamanaka flower shop as usual, Ino was working the counter. Her team had finished for the day, but she still had her shift to complete. When Ino heard the shop doorbell chime, she exclaimed, ugh, so bored. Welcome to Yamanaka Flowers. How can I help you? She said, feeling bored. Hey Ino, how's it going? Naruto asked. As soon as Ino turned to face him, she noticed that Naruto had changed drastically from the bright orange jumpsuit he had been wearing to a black muscle shirt, black pants, and a sword that was larger than he was. Holy hell, your jumpsuit is gone. And your arms are bigger, what happened? Ino exclaimed, startled, and Naruto laughed. Naruto smiled and said, oh, I've been training with a badass. Speaking of which, I'm thinking of getting her some flowers. What do you think would be good for her? Ino gave him a thoughtful look. How does she seem? Ino inquired. She's super strong, pretty, nice and everything in between, said Naruto. I want to get her something to cheer her up and let her know I care, said Naruto. Oh, an older woman huh, Ino said, raising an eyebrow. Who would have thought? Ino continued, giving Naruto a confused expression. I think I got just the thing, Ino uttered as she hurried to gather flowers from the shop and returned with a bouquet of 4 different flowers. As she handed Naruto the flowers, Ino said, okay, I got Alstroemeria, Aster, Azalea, and Camellia. These should do the job, she winked. Wonderful, Naruto chirped. How much do I owe? He inquired, but Ino interrupted him. You can't put a price on flowers for someone special, Ino smiled and said, on the house, Naruto. Naruto grinned back and gave Ino a hug. Naruto thanked Ino, saying, you're the best, and said, I'll catch you later, as he left the store. Then, without waiting, Ino picked up the phone and said, Hinata, guess what just happened? She was excited because she now had fresh rumors to share. The Hokage's workspace May blushed and shifted in her chair as Hiruzen and Ao watched her with wide eyes. Hiruzen then picked his ears and turned back to face her. Hiruzen apologized and asked May to repeat what he had said, making sure he was not losing his mind. She sheepishly admitted, I think I have a crush on Naruto, to the 2 men who were silently staring at her. Say something, she said. May nodded in agreement as Hiruzen said, Naruto. Ao said, Naruto Uzumaki, once more, and May nodded once more. Hiruzen said, the same Naruto you have been training for the past month or so, to which May angrily nodded. She looked embarrassed and said, yes, damn it. Hiruzen looked out the window and felt it. How the hell did Naruto pull this off? This is the same kid who beat me with the sexy jutsu, stole the scroll of sealing, and saved a country, he thought to himself. Well, hell hasn't frozen over. I'm 21 and he's 13, I know he's technically a legal adult when he becomes a shinobi, May worriedly exclaimed, slamming her head against the Hokage's desk. What do I do? She asked. As a cloud of rain gathered over May's head, Hiruzen gave a defeated, I honestly don't think I'm qualified to handle this statement. Ao started before May suddenly burst out. I mean, if you like him, why don't you? May said, what if he says no, It will ruin one of my best friendships. What if he thinks it's gross? She said, I mean, what kind of universe is that? A sensei and student. A different universe. While doing the dishwashing, Minato Namikaze heard the door open. A 4-year-old Naruto ran towards him and held out his arms, calling out, Daddy. A 3-year-old brunette girl ran toward him and yelled, Papa. Hugging both of his kids, he said, Naruto, Orihime, come here. Hey honey, Rin said as she asked, how was your day at work, before shutting the door behind her. Rin approached Minato and planted a kiss on his lips as he said, Yep, Kakashi and Obito are doing fine. Sent them out on another mission to grass country. Rin said, well, I'm glad your day went well, because it's about to get better, which piqued Minato's interest. Minato inquired, how so, and Naruto answered. With joy, Naruto announced, Mama is having another baby. Orihime exclaimed, bouncing up and down, new baby. Really, Rin? Minato exclaimed with joy. She said, yeah, I have another one in the oven. If it's a girl, I think we should name it after Kushina, to which Minato nodded. I hope you are happy up there, Kushina, Minato said, touching her belly. I was able to find someone to help me raise our son. I hope you can rest easy, Minato thought, grinning a little. Afterwards, at the hotel May moaned, Fuick, while Ao watched in helplessness as she stalked to her room like a zombie. Maybe just, Ao said, May, it's okay, he started, but May stopped him. May said, please Ao, don't, as she inserted her key and pulled open the door. I don't want to think about, Naruto, what are you doing here? She exclaimed, startled. Hello May, Naruto greeted her as he stood up. I understand why you are depressed, he said, causing a knot in her and Ao's stomachs. You are sad that our training is coming to an end, but don't worry, I won't ever leave you, he added with a smile. May exclaimed, wait what? As Naruto approached her and gave her a bunch of flowers. Naruto handed her the bottle and box and said, I hope you stop feeling down, and if you do, you know where I live. He then went to the window and said, well I gotta go. See you tomorrow. This was his way of saying that he was showing her how much he cared. May sniffled and looked down, breaking down in anime tears. Ow. God damn it, boy, he thought to himself as he squeezed his nose bridge. 2 days prior to the Chunin examinations, the following evening. As Ao and Naruto made their way to the training area, May seemed unwell. Perhaps the sushi had something to do with it. Ao gave Naruto a sidelong glance as he asked, so what are we doing again? Ao stopped talking and said, keep walking until you see the campfire. I'm not allowed witness it. Naruto became a little uneasy after hearing his words, something special. After a while, Naruto noticed a campfire ahead of him with what appeared to be 12 people gathered around it. He nodded and carried on walking. When Naruto spotted his friend, he said, Chojiro, what are you doing here? He inquired. Naruto was taken aback when Chojiro declared, I'm here for your initiation. For what? He questioned. You have been recommended and chosen to become one of the 7 ninja swordsmen. A blue-eyed man said. I'm Kisame Hoshigaki, S-class rogue ninja and wielder of the Samahata, said the man. Naruto became frightened right away. He heard someone chuckle as he said, wait, if you're a criminal, how did you get into the leaf? Another man remarked, your village security sucks. I'm Raiga, an A-class missing ninja and wielder of the Kiba blades, he added as he entered the light. An 80-something man said, Naruto, we are all here to give you an option to join our elite organization, as a brother. However, I'm not from Kiri, Naruto remarked, to which Kisame laughed. In the beginning only one of the 7 swordsmen was from Kiri. 3 were from Iwa, 1 was from Kumo, 1 was from Uzu and 1 was from Taki, he stated. The 7 swordsmen know no bounds, Naruto. Raiga stated, no matter where you go, or what you do, you will always be part of a brotherhood of swordsmen. From the day you enter to the day you die, he stated. What do you say? Chojiro asked. Join us and be a brother or reject and fade into obscurity. You live and die by the sword, Naruto, he said. Me and these men are all the current or retired swordmen. We have a rich and long history, Naruto, and we want you to be the next beginning in a new story. After looking down for a moment, Naruto looked up determinedly. These men were offering him a place to belong. A chance to be recognized for something he had worked so hard for. All his life, he had said, he wanted to be Hokage, to be admired and respected by the village. As Naruto said, "I'll join you," Kojiro, Kisame, and Raiga grinned. Naruto nodded and obeyed as Kisame said, "Okay brat, take off your shirt and place your sword in front of you." After that, Kisame gave him a bowl of a black liquid and told him to drink it. Naruto took one gulp and the world turned completely black. Naruto saw a man with brown skin and numerous tattoos sitting in front of him as the fire suddenly flared up again. "You have chosen a path not many choose to take. The path of a swordsman, the path of the warrior," he said in a deep voice. "Welcome boy." He uttered these words before standing up. Remember that a sword is neither good nor evil. It only obeys its wielder's commands. Treat it with respect because a sword can kill you just as easily as an enemy. Naruto asked, "Wait, who are you?" The man laughed. He made Naruto's eyes wide as he said, "I have no name. I'm the first swordsman of Kiri. I'm only here to give you the speech I said hundreds of times to hundreds of men. Goodbye young Uzumaki. Kushina and Minato would be proud of you." Naruto exclaimed, "Wait who?" But the man entered the fire, setting off an explosion that rendered Naruto blind. Then, as he fell back, Naruto noticed that Kojiro, Kisame, Raiga, and the other person were all grinning like shark teeth at him. Kisame said, "Well shit, you passed his inspection," and he was holding Naruto up. "Welcome to the Seven Swordsmen," he said. Kojiro declared, "3 cheers for Naruto, the maelstrom of Konoha and the wielder of the executioner's blade." At that moment, all of the other men joined in the applause, welcoming Naruto. Raiga said, "Take a look, kid, taking out a sword to serve as a mirror. Smile," he said. When Naruto realized his front teeth were now shark-like, he licked them and exclaimed, "Holy crap, my teeth, they looked amazing." "Hey kid, here's something else," Kisame said, taking out a scroll. "We have a tradition where you can sign the shark summoning contract if you'd like. All you have to do is write your name, and you can call in sharks anywhere there's water." Naruto exclaimed, "Whoa really?" and Kisame nodded. Kisame pointed to the hand signs for Naruto and said, "Yep, here are the hand signs." After cutting his thumb on the executioner's blade and signing his name, Naruto said, "Okay." He then questioned, "So what now?" To which Kojiro replied. He declared, "Now that this has concluded, our ceremony is adjourned. Let's go grab some ramen, Naruto," and he and Naruto quickly left. Raiga nodded as Kisame remarked, "Hey, funny brat. I can't wait to see him in action in the future." "You arrived from the east, correct?" he inquired, to which Kisame nodded. "So did I?" He said, "Let's walk back halfway before splitting up." "It seems like a plan," Kisame remarked. "Renmara, let's go," Raiga called to his backpack. "Okay, Raiga," said Renmara, causing Kisame to widen his eyes from inside his backpack. "You just talk with your backpack?" Kisame inquired. Several hours afterward, and several dozen miles to the east of Konoha, a murder of crows appeared in the middle of the road while Kisame and Raiga were traveling eastward. Itachi said, "Kisame, who is your friend?" To which Kisame replied with a smile. "One of my brothers," he said, asking, "What's up?" Itachi said, "We have our orders. We need to capture a target in Konoha." Raiga and Kisame gave him a wide-eyed look. "Who?" he said. "Really?" Kisame questioned. He uttered, "The host of the 9 Tails, Naruto Uzumaki," which caused Kisame and Raiga to wince. "Blonde hair, blue eyes, and wicker marks?" inquired Raiga, drawing Itachi's suspicious glance. "Yes," Itachi replied. "How did you know?" he inquired. At that moment, Kisame took out his samahada and opened its wrapping, and Raiga took out both of his kiba blades. Kisame addressed the man with surprise, saying, "Itachi, I'm sorry it has to end like this," Kisame added. Raiga laughed and he said, "You don't have to be here if you don't want to." "Oh, I would like to," Raiga replied. "Renamru, get ready. Let's give him a dignified funeral." From inside his bag, Renamru said, "Yes, Raiga." Itachi activated his Sharingan and said, "Very well, Kisame. Let's do this, old friend." Kisame Uchiha was being stared down by Raiga, Renmara, and Kisame, who was hiding inside Raiga's backpack. Kisame was strong, perhaps even stronger than Itachi, but he never tried to push himself too far. The results were extremely hazy when dealing with one person at a time, but Kisame had Raiga with him. Even though he isn't an S-class ninja, he could be sufficient to tip the odds in Kisame's favor. "Hey Raiga," Kisame said to get the man's attention. I'll hit him from close range. You hit him from long range, and for fuck's sakes don't look him in the eyes. I may be immune to his genjutsu, but if you look in there, well, someone else will need to take care of the brat in the backpack, he stated. Raiga said, copy that. You heard him, Renmara. I need you more than ever. From inside his backpack, Renmara said, okay Raiga, I'll do my best. Kisame said, okay then, let's boogie, and he charged at Itachi at full speed. He swung his sword at Itachi, but Itachi dodged the blow and tried to kick Kisame, but Kisame repelled Itachi's attempt and held onto his leg. Itachi fell after being flung away by Kisame. Raiga then threw Itachi a lightning bolt, telling him to hold still, pretty boy. Itachi, slightly irritated, remarked, pretty boy, seriously pretty boy. God, I hated it when Hana called me that, Itachi thought to himself as he avoided another lightning strike. After that, Itachi performed hand signs that read, fire style. Fireball jutsu. He then threw a fireball at Raiga. Raiga struck the fireball with several water bullets that he shot out of his mouth after driving his swords into the ground and passing through hand signals. Raiga, shuriken, right side, declared Renmara. Raiga snatched up his swords and leapt to the left just as the shuriken struck him. Well done, Renmara, Raiga remarked. The fireball was just a diversion. He then used his swords to compress a ball of lightning. Raiga then aimed it at Itachi, who anticipated it but was unable to respond in time. Just then, Susanoo, a chakra ribcage formed around Itachi, and it dispersed as the lightning ball struck. Itachi's respite was fleeting, as Kisame suddenly charged him, slamming his sword and striking Itachi's Susanoo. Itachi was taken aback by the Susanoo's slight crack as it made contact. Kisame yelled, my Samahata eats chakra Itachi, as he wound up taking another strike. I don't have to beat you, just drain you, he said, striking the same spot and further cracking it. After that, Itachi raised an arm to strike Kisame, but the man deflected the blow and was propelled into the air, landing a few yards away. Itachi thought, he's right, my Susanoo drains a lot of chakra. He then started to cough and spit out blood. No, Itachi thought to himself. Kisame grinned as he observed the situation, thinking, I knew something was wrong with him. He then made the hand gesture, water style. Water shark bomb, and several water sharks emerged from the earth to approach Itachi. Itachi used his Susanoo arm to swat away the sharks, but he saw Kisame approaching from behind. Kisame knew he used a shit ton of chakra doing it, but he knew it would help him. When Kisame broke the Susanoo once more, the already existing fractures widened even more. Raiga, seeing this, raised his swords into the sky as clouds of rain started to gather. Raiga grinned and pointed his swords at Itachi as the rain started to fall. He then said, lightning funeral. Suddenly, a huge bolt of lightning struck the Susanoo, flooding the area with bright light. For a brief moment, Raiga closed his eyes. Upon opening them, Itachi was running towards him. When Raiga blocked Itachi's attempt to stab him in the chest, he was stabbed in the side by a second kunai. Kisame dragged his sword, ripping the flesh from Itachi's ribs, stopping Itachi just as he was about to finish Raiga. Itachi had been hit on his side. Kisame used his other arm to swing back at Itachi, who dodged and slashed Kisame's legs. In return, Itachi kicked Kisame in the stomach and slashed him across his arm. He cut Kisame slightly, but it was enough to cause him to stagger back, allowing Itachi to move forward. Kisame stopped Itachi from stabbing him in the throat after he had stabbed him in the gut. Kisame cried out in pain as Itachi kicked the kunai deeper into his body before kicking him in the head and sending him flying a few feet away. Itachi approached the injured Kisame while panting heavily, raising a kunai to stab him. Goodbye, old friend, Itachi uttered. When he heard lightning, Kisame was about to accept his fate and closed his eyes. Raiga was holding up two swords that were aimed at Itachi, but Itachi was unaware that it was being struck directly in the back by Renmara, who had come out of his backpack. When Itachi hit the ground, his back was burned to the size of a basketball, and his right foot was scorched, indicating that the lightning bolt had penetrated his entire body. Kisame sighed with relief as he crawled over to a puddle and performed the Just You summoning. A tiny shark materialized. He said, patch me up, and the shark nodded before saturating Kisame with healing chakra. Hold on Raiga. I'm getting healed and I'll bring the shark over when I'm done, he replied. All right, replied Raiga. While the two men conversed, Renmara started bandaging her wounds. Is he dead? Raiga inquired. Not dazed, Kisame replied. What now? Inquired Raiga. Kisame started to think, and then he snapped his fingers and said, I have an idea. Raiga listened, and Kisame said, it's a little crazy, but hear me out, it just might work. In Naruto's apartment 2 hours later, the day before the Chunin exams. After a wild night of partying the previous night, Naruto was sound asleep in his bed, snoring away. Naruto was spoken, a little louder than before, and Naruto, still asleep, heard it. Fuck this, exclaimed a different voice. When he saw Kisame and Raiga standing in his room with a third man slung over Kisame's shoulder, Naruto was electrocuted again and jumped out of bed, landing next to his sword and picking it up, asking himself, who the fuck? Naruto yelled, what the hell did you just shock me, and who the fuck is that guy? Raiga yelled, calm down, damn it. We came here to get some help. Naruto appeared perplexed. Naruto lowered his guard to ask, help with what? We need to see your Hokage and May, Kisame sighed, startling the boy. After an hour Hiruzen had a pleasant start to the day, having breakfast with Konohamaru, smoking a fresh flavor of tobacco, and taking in the pleasant morning. Now he was in his office with May Terumi wearing an angry expression, Raiga Kurasuki picking and wiping his nose under the chair he was sitting in, Kisame Hoshigaki wrapping his wound, a small boy watching cartoons on his office television, and Itachi Uchiha, the clan killed, gagged, bagged, and tied up on the floor, struggling to escape. Hiruzen rubbed his temples and said, okay, tell me how you know these three, turning to Naruto. Naruto said, well, it's like this, after 20 minutes. Naruto nodded as Hiruzen remarked, holy crap, this is bad. You basically joined a secret organization and sharpened your teeth. Naruto remarked, I think they look cool. May remarked, they may look cool, Naruto. But why did you not tell me sooner? Naruto appeared a little embarrassed. Running through his mind, he said, I was going to tell you though. I was out partying with Kojiro. Okay Naruto. Hiruzen responded, you basically hung out with two known criminals who snuck into the village. But they didn't commit any crimes. I expect you to feign ignorance in case anyone asks you anything about it. He said with a nod. Why is Itachi here now? He asked Raiga. Well, this is how it happened, said Rigiga. 20 minutes later Hiruzen took a swig from a bottle of sake and exclaimed, holy fucking shit, this is bad. Raiga nodded. So you're telling me that you captured him because you didn't want to let any harm come to Naruto? Hiruzen asked. Kisame wouldn't let Itachi capture Naruto here, and neither would I, Raiga remarked, drawing a smile from Naruto. We 7 swordmen take care of our own, Raiga continued. Naruto grinned and said, thanks guys, you're the best. I totally owe you both some ramen. Kisame inquired, do they have seafood ramen? And Naruto nodded. Indeed, he said, it's really good, May interjected, saying, it's pretty amazing. Trying to maintain his composure, Hiruzen said, now then, glancing at Kisame. Why would your organization want to capture Naruto? Well, so here's how it goes. Kisame started. 20 minutes later to Kisame's amusement, Hiruzen yelled, holy fucking Kami above this is bad. They want to take over the world. What sick kind of Saturday morning cartoon bullshit is this? On the bright side now, the organization is down to 7 members. Me, Itachi and Orochimaru are no longer in play, said Kisame. The mention of his rebel apprentice made Hiruzen pale. He took out his bottle of sake and downed it entirely. When he was finished, he yelled and smashed it on the ground. To the horror of everyone in the room, Hiruzen yelled, why is my job so fucking hard? Hiruzen yelled, Anbu, and 4 appeared out of the shadows. Take Itachi to jail and hold him for Ibiki and Anko, he said. The 2 Anbu nodded, and Itachi vanished with the 2 Anbu. Pointing to the other 2, he said, you 2. Escort Kisame and Raiga to a free room in Anbu HQ, causing both men to widen their eyes. Both of the men appeared pleased when Hiruzen said, I can probably downgrade your bingo book statuses by 2 ranks. If you both work with me, I might be able to get you both a pardon with May's help. Old timer, thank you, Kisame replied. Raiga said, okay, Renamaru, get ready to go, but Hiruzen interrupted him. He made Raiga and Renmara wide-eyed and said, if possible, I would like Renmara to attend the academy while you both are here. Think of it as free day care and maybe he makes some friends. Raiga, can I go? Renmara asked, Although initially hesitant, Raiga nodded. He gave Renamru a smile and said, "Okay, you can go. But if anything happens to him, I'll fry you." He turned to the Hokage, who appeared to be a total loser. Hiruzen waved him off, making him grow a tick mark. Yeah, whatever, he said, and the boy bowed. Naruto take Renmara to the academy and Renmara say nothing about Kisame, Raiga, or Naruto. Hiruzen nodded in agreement as Renmara said, "Yes, Sir Hokage sir." "Leave now, everyone, while I try to figure out what to do next," he said, and they all left, leaving Hiruzen alone. After turning to face Minato's portrait, Hiruzen thought, "You just had to die. You couldn't just let me retire." He made hand gestures to call for a small monkey. "I'm going to need him now more than ever," Hiruzen said, gesturing for the monkey to go find Jiraiya. The monkey nodded and vanished from view. Then, as he dragged his hands across his face, Hiruzen sighed, saying, "I'm too old for this shit." Alongside Renmara, May, and Naruto was walking to the academy with May and Renmara. May was holding Renamru's hand at the moment, and the boy was grinning broadly. Naruto said, "You will have a lot of fun, Renmara. Iruka-sensei is super cool. You'll have a blast." Excited, Renmara turned to face him. Renmara exclaimed, "I can't wait. I'll tell Raiga everything when I get back." The three saw every student entering class as they got closer to the academy. A voice yelled, "Hey Naruto," and Naruto saw Konohamaru rush over. "Konohamaru, what's going on?" Naruto asked, grinning and flashing his teeth. Konohamaru exclaimed, "Whoa, your teeth, what happened?" in shock. Naruto said, "I became a man," causing May to start perspiring and Konohamaru to stare at him with stars in his eyes. Konohamaru remarked, "Cool," and as he noticed May and Renmara standing there, he grinned and called out, "Hey boss," attracting Naruto's attention. He pointed at May and said, "Who's the babe?" "That's May, my fierce sensei," Naruto remarked, and May grinned. May waved to Konohamaru, who grinned even more. "Hello there," May said. Konohamaru replied, "Oh, I get it. She's totally your girlfriend, right?" May blushed upon hearing this and started to feel anxious inside. May thought, "Oh my god, does everyone think that? I mean, they can't really think that, because we hardly ever get seen together in public." To attract May's attention, Naruto uttered the words, "Get real Konohamaru. You think I could get a girl like her? She's like an 11 out of 10, and I'm like, well me," Naruto continued. May reached over and touched his shoulder. "Naruto, don't sell yourself short. You are a catch, and any girl would be lucky to have a man like you," May advised. However, after saying that, she started to regret having won. Naruto turned to Konohamaru and said, "Anyway, we are here to take Renmara to class. It's his first day." Konohamaru nodded. "Aw, thanks May, that means a lot." "Oh, right," he said, turning to face Renmara. "Follow me, Renmara, and we can sit together." As Konohamaru and he entered the school, Renmara exclaimed, "Awesome," and he released May's hand. "Bye Naruto, bye pretty lady," he said. As he walked out, Naruto and May gave each other a wave. Within the classroom all eyes were on Renmara, who was standing in the front of the room. Iruka said, "Now then, Renmara. Please introduce yourself to the class." Renmara cleared his throat at that. "My name is Renmara Kurasuki," he started, but then he realized he had nothing to say, so he just winged it, saying, "I like sharks, swords, and funerals." What the hell? Iruka thought to herself. Did I hear him correctly? Konohamaru wondered. With hearts in her eyes, Moegi thought, he's so cute. Hanabi thought, he's a little awkward, and not like Hinata awkward. He said, "Yeah, I totally nailed it. I just mashed stuff together from Naruto, Kisame, and Raiga. When I grow up, I want to be a swordsman and have a pretty girlfriend with big boobies." Gazing straight down the classroom, he thought, I'm sure they bought it. Moegi was off in La La Land. Iruka slapped his head, Konohamaru was trying not to laugh, and Hanabi blushed because Renmara had inadvertently glanced in her direction. As Hanabi's cheeks turned redder and she started to fidget like her older sister, she wondered, does he mean me? People say I'm a cute girl, but we don't know each other and he never met my father, he needs his permission before he courts me. Iruka said to Renmara, okay, good job, I guess. Go sit next to Hanabi up there in the top row. Renmara nodded. Then, to Hanabi's horrified surprise, Renmara approached her row and sat down beside her. "Hello, I'm Renmara," he grinned. Blushing, she stammered, I'm Hanabi. He said, "Nice to meet you, we're friends now," to Hanabi's naive nod of agreement. "Want to hold hands?" he continued. Renmara looked at her and held up his hand as Hanabi passed out from exhaustion. Sir," he said. "I believe she dozed off in class. Is it nap time or something?" Iruka gave him a slap on the forehead. Thought, what a great another Naruto Hinata situation, so he told Renmara to just sit her up and wait for her to wake up. "All right, then," Iruka said, starting to write on the chalkboard. "Let's start class." The Chunin exam day, the following day, May, and Kisame were standing with Naruto on the roof of the Hokage tower, where he was going to take his exams in 3 hours. May proudly said, "Naruto, you've come a long way. I know you'll give it your all." She then produced a scroll and gave it to him. "I got you a little something to wear when you participate," May continued, and Naruto accepted it. Naruto thanked May and said, "I couldn't have done it without you." He then hugged her. Then, approached him and gave him a belt with 4 separate water canteens sewed inside. "This belt is worn so Akiri Enbu member has water on him at all times for jutsu," explained. "Once you use it, the water will return automatically because of the seal inside," added quickly. After accepting it, Naruto shook his hand. He nodded when he said, "Thanks, Then Kisame approached and removed 2 necklaces made of shark teeth. "These are special necklaces," he explained as he handed them to him and May. "If you snap them, it activates a beacon that'll let the other know where they are so they can provide backup. I got one, you got one and May got one. Only use it whenever shit hits the fan," said he. They shook hands, and Naruto said, "Thanks, Kisame, you're a pal." Naruto nodded as he said, "Remember kid, a shark attacks suddenly and without warning. Use this in the exams and you'll be fine." Naruto thanked everyone and then inhaled deeply. "Okay, I'm ready," he uttered. In the academy in front of the door, Kakashi, Sasuke, and Sakura were all waiting for Naruto. Sakura yelled, "Where the hell is he? Did that idiot chicken out at the last minute?" Sasuke remarked, "He better not have, not unless he knows what's good for him." The 3 saw who it was as a swirl of water suddenly appeared and they took heed. Standing there was Naruto, dressed completely differently. He had on a dark orange muscle shirt, a blue jacket matching May's dress, black combat pants, black shinobi sandals, and a shark tooth necklace hanging out. He wore 2 headbands. One from Kiri was tied to his left arm with a dark orange cloth, and the other was a leaf headband from his forehead covered in black cloth. And lastly, he carried Zabuza's sword on his back and Ao's belt around his waist. "Hokage," was said indifferently, "Emo bastard," to Sasuke, which infuriated him, and "Banshee," to Sakura, which infuriated her. She uttered the words, "Why you?" as she advanced to strike him, but Naruto simply sidestepped and tripped her, causing her to fall face first. Kakashi asked, "Naruto, what happened to you?" Naruto scowled in response. Naruto said, "None of your goddamn business, Hitaki," which made Kakashi wince. With a haughty grin, Sasuke said, "Hey loser. Give me that sword." He reached for it, saying, "It would be better if," but Naruto pulled out the sword and held it to his neck. Naruto said, "Sasuke, shut up, or I'll kill you," with a sweet and innocent smile. Alongside May put her hands on her hips and wore a proud expression as she watched the interaction between Hiruzen and the Anbu through the crystal ball. "I instructed him on that," May proudly remarked. Refocusing on the ball, Hiruzen thought, "Mother of Kami." Returning with Naruto, Kakashi said, "Okay, Naruto, calm down." Naruto sneered and withdrew his sword. Naruto slapped his sword on his back and uttered, "We may be competing together, but we are not a team. Don't talk to me, don't sit next to me, just ignore me like you always do." He turned to walk to the door, saying, "Let's go already." Sakura ran after them, abandoning Kakashi alone, and Sasuke followed, still irrational. "Oh shit," Kakashi thought to himself as the door behind Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura closed. I fucked up big time." Naruto at Konoha Academy. When Naruto entered the room where the Chunin exam's first phase would be held, he noticed many older genin from almost every village. Ino and Sakura started arguing, so Naruto calmly walked over to a seat and sat down, choosing not to say anything. This irritated him. Naruto thought, man, I never realized how loud Sakura is. It's beyond me how I was ever attracted to her. Subsequently, he sensed a presence beside him and turned to see it was none other than Shino Aburame. Naruto didn't really know him, despite their 6 years in the academy together. Uzumaki, Shino uttered in a monotone, I need to talk to you about something. Naruto swallowed. What would that be, Shino? Naruto exclaimed, thinking, ah crap, did I irritate him or something? He said, I am here to talk to you about Hinata, and Naruto gave him a puzzled look. Who? A perplexed Naruto inquired, and Shino gestured to a different seat. Hinata Hyuga was feeling down right now. Hinata bowed her head to the desk and thought, I missed my chance. Nobody will love me. Naruto will never love me. Naruto inquired, what's wrong with her? Shino sighed. From what I was able to gather, a person whom Hinata fancied romantically has found a lover and Hinata is in a depressed state. Shino stated. While I personally do not wish to be involved in such a problem, I believe it is important for me to get her out of her depressed state for the betterment of the team, he said with a nod. Gazing at the melancholic girl, Naruto remarked, man, she lost the guy she liked. Well, that's probably for the best anyway. Guy was probably a total douche, he said, inadvertently making fun of himself. Unaware that he was speaking to the person who had initially broken Hinata's heart, Shino remarked, I agree the likelihood of that is high. Hinata is a far too trusting person. So, what do you recommend that I do? Kiba is an idiot to feelings. Shikamaru is useless. Choji is glutton. And Sasuke is not sociable. So, you are probably the only one who can possibly help, he stated, and Naruto reflected. Well, I kinda did the same thing a few days ago, Naruto replied. Try flowers, alstromerias, asters, azaleas and camellias to be exact. Then get her favorite food. That's what worked for me when May was feeling sad, he said with a nod. Flowers, Hinata enjoys pressing flowers. She also has an unhealthy fondness for cinnamon rolls, Shino said as he stood up. Thank you, Uzumaki. I value your counsel, Naruto scoffed. Shino, will you call me Naruto? Naruto asked, and Shino nodded. Shino walked away and said, very well, Naruto. Naruto thought, he's not as weird as I thought he was. At that moment, a cloud of smoke billowed into the classroom, and a man donning a bandana materialized alongside 20 other proctors. Okay maggots, my name is Ibiki Moreno. It's time to begin the first phase, he said with a booming voice. Find your seats and get your sheet for the written portion of the Chunin exam, said him. Naruto yelled, written portion, as his heart fell. In the television lounge with May and the other Chunin. Written portion, May exclaimed. Oh my god, I only practiced fighting techniques. I had no idea he would also have to take an academic portion of the test, she thought. Gazing at the monitor, she thought, okay, don't panic. Naruto is crafty. I'm nearly certain he can pull through. Returning to Naruto after 40 minutes with just 20 minutes remaining on his test and not having answered a single question, Naruto was sitting nervously. Oh no, Naruto thought in a panic, I have to cheat somehow. I have no other option. But how could he wonder? After giving it some serious thought for a few moments, Naruto realized what he had learned in his training. Yeah, that can work, he thought, won't be subtle, but if I'm fast enough. Subsequently, Naruto reached under the desk and performed a hand sign titled, Water Style, Hidden Mist Jutsu. Suddenly, a dense mist cloud enveloped the room as Naruto's canteens burst. Hey, look what happened, cried one voice. I'm blind, cried out another voice. A girl yelled, someone just touched my boobs. I apologize, a voice in disguise said. As he performed a jutsu to disperse the mist, Ibiki yelled, enough, and looked around to see that everyone had returned to their original positions. Kiba cried out, hey, where's my test? And exclaimed, and what the hell is this? As he picked up some cloth and realized it was a Suna headband. As she got up and grabbed her fan, Tamari yelled, you're the one who groped me. I'll kill you. She then rushed over to Kiba and began striking him with her fan. Enough! Ibiki yelled once more, gesturing to the partially unconscious Kiba on the ground. Proctors, disqualify that boy and his team, and file a sexual harassment incident against him. He said, Ms. Tamari, please sit down and stop using violence, to which Tamari scowled. She yelled, "Next guy who touches me dies." While he put his test in his pocket and wrote his name on Kiba's test, Naruto was horrified by the scene and said, "Sorry Kiba." He also thought, "Hey, better you taking a beating than me." After another 20 minutes, Ibiki asked the last question and invited teams to withdraw if they did not want to continue. Eventually, just 27 teams remained from the initial 40 teams. Ibiki revealed that all of the teams had passed and the purpose of the test after the other teams had remained behind. Ibiki said, "Okay then brats, now," before a ball of cloth smashed through the window. The ball suddenly unfurled, revealing a banner that read, "The sexy and single Anko Midarashi," with a purple-haired woman wearing fishnets and a trench coat standing in front of it. Naruto yelled, "What the hell?" as he stood up, sword raised, and prepared to fight. Anko loudly declared, striking a pose, "All right kids, this is Anko Midarashi, the proctor of the second exam. Don't get too excited as the pain has only begun. So, let's go follow me." She had everyone in the room, including Naruto, staring at her in confusion. Ibiki dutifully said, "Anko, the second exam isn't until tomorrow," to which Anko blushed in humiliation. Anko turned to face the boy, a blonde boy with shark-like teeth and a large sword, and saw that he was the only one standing up. Anko said, striking a pose, "What's wrong, Blondie? I'm intimidated by my curvaceous and sexy body. Sorry, but I'm not into younger guys." Naruto then took a seat. "Well, whatever," Naruto said, startling Anko. "May is much more attractive than you. Her boobs are larger, her hair is nicer, and she can kick your ass in an instant," Naruto continued. Alongside May smiled silly and said, "Ah, Naruto. You really think that of me? You shouldn't be talking about your sensei like that." A number of the Chunin who were observing her began to perspire. Kakashi was staring at her with narrowed eyes. "So, she's the one who trained Naruto," Kakashi thought to himself as he looked back at the screen. "She doesn't seem so special." Returning with Naruto, Anko grabbed Naruto by the collar and yelled, "What the fuck did you say? Say it again, you little blonde shit and all," she started. Ibiki yelled, "Anko, you really going to beat up a genin over something so petty?" Anko scoffed and turned to face Naruto. "Come to training ground 44 tomorrow at noon for the second phase, and I can promise you all that at least half of you will be cut by the time I'm done with you," Anko said as she jumped from the window. When Sakura got in his way, Naruto swung his sword and started to walk away. "What the hell, Naruto? Are you trying to get us disqualified?" Sakura exclaimed. Naruto then grabbed her shoulder and physically moved her out of his way. "Haruto, I told you not to talk to me," Naruto uttered as he left the room. Hokage Tower. A few hours later, May looked down and Naruto yelled, What do you mean you have to go back to Kiri?" he asked. With a sorrowful tone, May uttered, "It's time for my coronation to become Mizukage Naruto, but I promise I'll be back in time for your finals and I'll be watching you through the live feed." Naruto looked down and said, "It's okay, I understand. It's just too bad you can't be here. I'll miss you." At that moment, he felt like someone was grabbing hold of his head and pulling it up. May then removed his headband and kissed Naruto, causing him to blush. May hugged Naruto and said, "I'll see you later, Naruto. I'll be back, don't worry." Then, she vanished into a swirl of water. Naruto stood there for a little while and touched the spot where May had kissed him. With a slight smile on his face, Naruto experienced a sensation similar to that of battle in his chest. He clutched his heart, wondering what was wrong, but the feeling persisted for a short while. Finally, he thought, "Damn it, what's this? Wait, I know who to talk to," and fled. Alongside Hinata, Hyuga was lying in bed as her terrible week continued. Through Ino, she had first learned that Naruto was seeing an older woman. She then went to the Chunin exams and felt uncomfortable approaching Naruto. As a result, she and her team were eliminated since Kiba failed his test and made inappropriate advances toward a female. It would be an understatement to say that Sume's father and Kiba's mother were upset. Kiba is currently being harassed by Sume, and Hiyashi, for the first time in a long time, expressed genuine concern for her by inquiring as to whether Kiba had ever behaved or touched her inappropriately. Why doesn't this week end already? Hinata thought to herself as she heard a knock at her bedroom door, coming. She went to answer it and saw her teammate Shino standing there holding a small box and flowers. "Shino, what are you doing here?" Hinata asked. In a monotone voice, Shino greeted Hinata, "Hello, Hinata. I come bearing gifts of flowers and food. He then handed Hinata both items. Hinata started, Shino, what's? Hinata's eyes widened as Shino said, Naruto told me that this would be the best way for me to express my concern for you. Why would Naruto do this? Hinata pondered, wondering until she realized, wait, is Naruto apologizing to me through Shino? Shino, why did you do this for me? Hinata asked, and Shino adjusted his glasses. He reddened Hinata's cheeks and said, because I care about you, Hinata. Your sadness made me concerned about you and I was not willing to stand by and watch you suffer. Hinata fidgeted after that. As steam started to escape her ears, Hinata misinterpreted the situation and thought, Shino cares about me. Naruto is apologizing to me through Shino. He's saying that I should move on and date Shino because he cares about, she thought. Shino said, anyways, I'm going, and he started to leave. Wait, Shino, interrupted Hinata, tensely asking if he would like to, share my cinnamon roll. Shino paused, reflecting. I'd love to, Hinata, Shino said as Hinata slowly left her room. I see she wishes to deepen our bond by sharing food and establish further trust and companionship, Shino thought, misinterpreting the circumstances a little. As she led him to the dining area, Hinata tremblingly said, I'll get us a plate. Naruto has unintentionally planted the seeds for a new couple in Konoha as a result of his ignorance and misreading of the circumstances. In the Anbu bar with Naruto, Kisame, and Raiga. And she kissed my forehead and left. Naruto slammed the whiskey on the table, taking a swig. And now I'm feeling weird, he continued, while Raiga took a sip of his beer. Naruto looked at Raiga when he said, I'm afraid I have the solution to your problem. You have something called bitch dependency syndrome. You basically became so attached to her that you don't think you can function without her. You need to push her out of your mind and focus on things that matter. Naruto nodded. You rely on May like. We rely on our swords, Kisame remarked, taking a sip of his sake. If we don't have them then we are not swordsmen. We can live without them but we cannot function without them, he continued, before Naruto slammed his head against the table. Naruto took another drink and said, damn it, I don't know what to do. I can't think of anything except May not being here. Suddenly, he felt a hand come down on his shoulder. I think it's love, Naruto, Itachi responded. You have developed feelings for May and now you can't shake them. You established an emotional connection with her and now that she's gone you want her back, he replied. All of the Anbu in the room, including Naruto, Kisame, and Raiga, were staring at him like deer in headlights when all of them suddenly drew swords or shattered bottles to use as makeshift weapons. Everyone started yelling, what the hell are you doing here, Dai Itachi, and, you still owe me money, until someone raised their voice. Quiet, Hiruzen yelled, using his chakra to amplify his voice. He is free because I freed him, he declared, drawing blank stares from everyone. I discovered some information and it turns out Itachi was not responsible for the Uchiha massacre. He's 100% innocent and is under my direct protection while the investigation is ongoing, Hiruzen continued, lowering everyone's weapons. Now return to drinking, he said as everyone took a seat. After Itachi and Hiruzen sat down at the table, Naruto said, hey Itachi, so you didn't really kill your clan and betray Konoha, asking as he glanced at Itachi. Everyone at the table started to perspire as Itachi whispered, no, I 100% did that, but there's more to it than that. I was actually working as a spy for Konoha on the Akatsuki. I was alright until Kisame exposed my disguise, he remarked, glancing at Kisame. It's unbelievable that I did that, Kisame yelled. Itachi angrily remarked, there is no way I can go back without having my mind read and being killed. If you hadn't betrayed the Akatsuki, I wouldn't have had to try to kill you to keep my cover. Kisame appeared a little surprised by this statement. Oh my god, Kisame exclaimed, my bad, and Itachi proceeded to place an unopened bottle in the center of the table. Anyway Naruto, Itachi replied, from the sounds of it you must like this May woman on a romantic level. And her leaving was the trigger that made you realize it, he replied. Taking a swig of Naruto's whiskey, Hiruzen remarked, you never know what you had until it's gone. I know the feeling all too well. They all objected when Naruto asked, well, what should I do? Should I go after her and tell her how I feel? As the others nodded, Kisame remarked, what the hell no, you don't want to seem desperate. Naruto scoffed. For now, just wait until the finals and when she finally arrives back tell her how you feel. Who knows, maybe she'll weigh yes. He took a swig of whiskey and said, Please, in what universe can a genin hook up with his sensei? Hiruzen held up his hand and said, well, Naruto, there's really only one solution I can think of. 2 bottles of whiskey, 4 bottles of sake, and 2 pitchers of beer. On the double. The bartender started preparing their drinks at that point. Later on in the evening in his flat, Sasuke Uchiha was fast asleep. As Kisame, Raiga, and Itachi crept into Sasuke's house, a very inebriated Naruto whispered, "Shush, be quiet, you'll wake him." They were all taping Sasuke to his bed without waking him. Itachi laughed and whispered, "Okay, done. Raiga, the blindfold." Raiga then blindfolded Sasuke without waking him, whispering, "Okay, ready." With a devilish smile on his face, Kisame said, "Hold up, wait." He then turned around and pulled down Sasuke's pants, and then let out a loud fart directly in Sasuke's face, waking him up with both sound and smell. Unable to stand or look, Sasuke exclaimed, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" Raiga yelled, "Get him with the socks," and Sasuke was beaten with socks that contained dead battery bars by Naruto, Kisame, Raiga, and Itachi. After a short while, they all stopped and started laughing at Sasuke's suffering, and Kisame turned around as they started to leave. As he and his inebriated companions left the house, Kisame remarked, "This is what you get for being an asshole," and Sasuke started to groan in agony as he lay in his bed. "What did I do?" moaned Sasuke, the following morning. With a hangover, Hiruzen woke up in his bed and thought, "Oh god, how much did I drink?" He then looked to the side of his bed and thought, "Better be quiet, I don't want to wake Bawako." When he opened his eyes, he realized, horrified, "Wait, my wife is dead," and he pulled the covers off to reveal who was underneath. Yawn. Morning already. Sume Inuzuka exclaimed as he stood up, turning Hiruzen pale. Upon noticing him, Sume crawled over to give him a kiss, saying, "You pervy old man. Calling me over for a booty call in the middle of the night," she said, drawing circles on his chest, "How alpha of you." "Well, I didn't become Hokage by being a saint," Hiruzen said as Sume crawled up next to him and rested her head on his chest. "This is wrong. She's young enough to be my daughter," he thought, wide-eyed. Then, he looked at Sume's contented and happy face, thinking, "But if I'm wrong, I don't want to be right." Sume laughed and remarked, "And you keep saying you're too old," but from her point of view, everything was still in excellent shape. "Gosh, I'm so good," thought Hiruzen. Training Area 44. 11:30 a.m. Naruto tried not to laugh as he stared at a battered and irate Sasuke, Sakura badgering him about his injuries. "Hey bastard," Naruto said to get Sasuke's attention, "what happened? Some of your fangirls jump you or something?" And Sasuke became enraged. "Shut it, idiot," Sasuke replied, "and for your information, I got jumped by a group of 4 ninjas last night. But what you see here isn't as nearly as bad as what I did to them," he replied. "Oh Sasuke, that's really awesome," exclaimed Sakura in full fangirl mode. Naruto rolled his eyes and said, "Oh please." He laughed, "I'm sure people would call you crazy and delusional if you said you had a sock party done on you in the middle of the night by drunk people, but I wouldn't because I was there." Anko declared, "Okay you little shits, listen up. I'm going to explain the test of the second phase." She went on to explain that each team will start with 1 scroll and must battle another team to obtain a second scroll. "Okay then, with nothing else to say, go to your gates and wait for the signal," said Anko. Naruto asked, Can I help you dude?" as a person stood in front of him as everyone made their way to the gates. "Who are you?" Gaara asked in a monotone voice. "I'm Subaku no Gaara." Naruto responded with a smile that revealed his shark teeth. Gaara nodded as Naruto uttered the name, Naruto Uzumaki. He made Naruto's blood run cold, saying, "I sense that presence inside you, Uzumaki. Do not lose this exam. I wish to fight you." He then turned to leave. The girl with the fan who had defeated Kiba the day before and a man in a black catsuit then trailed him. The words, "Hey Blondie," from Tamari caused Naruto to halt abruptly. "Yeah, what's up?" Naruto exclaimed, perspiring. "Oh crap, does she know that I groped her? It was an accident," he thought. She pointed to Naruto's sword and said, "Giant sword, giant fan." People do not appreciate or understand how much of a pain in the ass it is to carry and use a weapon like ours, to which Naruto responded with a smile. "I totally respect you, you know," she said, confusing him. "Yeah, sharpening my sword takes about an hour on each side," he replied, Well, take care, fan lady, he replied. Sword boy, take care, she said, catching up with her brothers. I'm not alone in my struggles anymore. There is another giant weapons user, she thought to herself. Naruto was holding the scroll and pondering what to do with it while he and his team stood outside their gate. Then, he noticed a puddle and had an idea. After swiftly learning the hand signals for summoning just you, Naruto called for a small shark, saying, "Hey, can you hold on to this for me please?" The shark said, "Yeah, thing kid," taking the scroll and disappearing in a cloud of smoke. Sakura and Sasuke observed the exchange with open eyes. "What the fuck was that?" exclaimed Sakura. As soon as the gates opened and the signal went off, Naruto yelled back, "None of your goddamn business, that's what. Let's get this crap over with," he said, leading his team into the forest to start the second part of the Chunin exams. Raiga, Kisame, and Itachi together en route secret base. "Itachi, please wait. Everything I did was for the benefit of the village. Don't," Danzo started to say before Itachi beheaded him. There were about 100 dead bodies of Danzo's root Anbu all around Itachi. Itachi informed Hiruzen that Danzo had given him orders to kill the Uchiha in return for his brother's safety. As he placed Samahata on his shoulder, Kisame remarked, "Well, it's nice to get the blood pumping again." Raiga then raised an objection, asking why they felt the need to kill all these guys again. Raiga grinned and said, "Yeah, all this seems pretty unnecessary, wiping blood off his swords. But I'm not complaining, it was pretty fun. Danzo would have been a hindrance in our plans down the line," Itachi stated. "Besides, I despised him for what he did to Shisui. If he did not get in the way of our original plan to stop the coup, if he didn't, my clan would be around and I wouldn't have had to become a rogue ninja." Kisame and Raiga agreed. Itachi shook his head and Kisame remarked, "Oh well, what's done is done. So when are you going to the doctor for your lung thing?" Itachi replied, "I don't know. The last time I went, I was told there was nothing they could do." "Well," Raiga replied, "live each day as if it were your last." "I'm going to scavenge everything I can from here," Itachi replied. "I'm taking the Sharingans Danzo had." "Feel free to take anything else you want," he responded. "Okay. Free shit," Raiga exclaimed, lighting up like a Christmas tree as he started to rummage among the corpses. "I'm fine," Kisame declared. "I'm heading back to the hideout. See you two later." Kisame then vanished into a whirlpool of water. Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto together. After spending the better part of an hour running through the forest with Sasuke and Sakura, Naruto has been observing his surroundings and is pleased with what he sees. The ground was sufficiently moist for him to obtain water for jutsu. This, combined with the humid air, would be useful should he wish to ambush someone. When he saw Sakura and Sasuke descend to the ground, he followed suit and asked, "What's the holdup?" impatiently. "Shut it, loser," Sasuke shouted. "We need to find a team and get a scroll. All we were doing is running through the forest," said he. "No shit, Sherlock," Naruto replied. "If we keep moving through the forest, we'll run into someone. So, let's keep moving," he replied. Sakura yelled, "You can't boss us around, idiot," but Naruto stopped her in her tracks and slapped her across the face. Naruto angrily said, "Stop screeching, damn it. If you keep being so damn loud, you're going to lure everyone in the vicinity to us." Naruto walked into the bushes and said, "Fuck this, I'm going to take a piss. Stay still and shut up." As Sakura stood up and rubbed her burning cheek, she wondered, did he just hit me? Since Naruto had never done that to her before. She realized that Naruto had changed since she had gone to the academy. She had grown accustomed to him being the meek punching bag who never fought back. Sasuke yelled, "Damn loser, where does he get off on telling us what to do?" Before something shot out of the bush in their direction, he said, "No matter what kind of training he's done, he's still the dead last dope we know, we don't." Sakura and Sasuke were both alert and braced for an attack, but what they witnessed turned their stomachs. A rain genin's upper body was seen, along with a breathing apparatus and a white bodysuit. A few seconds later, Naruto emerged, carrying his bloodied sword over his shoulder. "Bastard," Naruto uttered, "is nothing sacred anymore. Sneaking up on a guy while he's pissing is pretty low." He then knelt down and started searching through the corpse. As he stood back up, Naruto sighed, "Sigh. Some kunai. Explosive tags but no scroll. Damn. Oh well, maybe next time," he continued, before turning to face Sakura and Sasuke. Sakura opened her mouth to say something, but Naruto scared her away by saying, "See what I mean? Let's move and keep your big trap shut. Let's go, he exclaimed, launching himself into the trees with Sakura and Sasuke right behind him. Naruto thought, oh god, I have to put up with this shit for 5 days. He also wondered, I wonder what May is doing. I hope she's okay. In a roadside tavern with May. And now I'm going back to Kiri to be made Mizukage while he's participating in the Chunin exams. May said while seated at the table. Am I crazy to believe that we could be together with our age gap? While we can't do anything sexual together yet, we can date and stuff. I'm so conflicted, what should I do? She said with a sigh. You should go for it if you like him. It seems like you love him and he respects you, Yugito Ni said, slamming her drink down. Nonsense, she folded her arms. I agree with Kuretsuchi, she said. I think the age difference thing won't be a problem. If anything, it'll make you seem more enticing to him. May gave her a hopeful look. May grinned slightly and said, you really think so? I mean, look at you. Long hair, big boobs, pretty face. If he rejects you, he's stupid. Or possibly gay, Fu said, munching on a piece of dango. Of course, she added, causing May and the other girl to giggle. And even if he does reject you, it's better than not telling him, because nothing hurts worse than words left unsaid, she said, drawing Yugito's attention. May grinned in response. You know what, girls, she replied. You're all right. Next time I see Naruto I'll tell him how I feel. And even if he rejects me, I'll never give up our friendship, she said with pride. Fu clapped, to May and Naruto, as the women tapped glasses together. Ao, Kitsuchi, and Shibuki were seated at a different table, waiting for the conversation to come to an end. I literally stopped for 3 minutes to take a piss, A replied. Now I've been here for 20 minutes while Yugito talks to that May of yours, Ao responded. Taking a sip of tea, Ao said, think of it as building foreign relations. Besides, once women start talking, you can kiss your schedule goodbye. Shibuki remarked, I think that Kurotuchi girl is kind of cute. Do you know if she's single? He questioned Kitsuchi. Shibuki shrank a little as he warned her to stay away from her tacky boy, adding, that's my daughter. Returning with Naruto thought to himself, 4 hours and only got ambushed once. Man, this test is boring, as he and his team carried on their forest walk. Sakura remained between Sasuke and Naruto. Even after a month of training, she remains a fearful little fangirl. Sasuke was always on the lookout for threats. Naruto looked at Sakura and Sasuke and said, hey, what do you say we set up camp? It's getting dark so we should. But before he could say anything more, a massive gust of wind blew him into the forest. As he shot through the air, Naruto yelled, holy hell. He then reached for his sword and swung it. Because he was pumping chakra through his muscles to strengthen his grip, Naruto was fortunate enough to have his sword stick into a tree and keep him motionless. After the wind subsided, Naruto released his sword and fell to the ground, asking himself, what the hell was? He kept thinking about it until he had to avoid an attack. Naruto yelled, oh you gotta be shitting me, as he turned to face his enormous snake assailant. The snake then swung its tail at Naruto, who avoided it and passed through the hand signals that said, water style. Water bullets. Naruto then shot the snake with several dozen water bullets that came out of his mouth. Naruto dodged again as the snake spit out a massive glob of poison after the jutsu struck it but had little effect. As he dashed through the trees, Naruto thought to himself, damn, all I did was piss it off. He then passed through hand signals that indicated, water style. Water clone. Naruto then created 10 water clones, and they all split apart as the snake pursued him. The water clone abruptly transformed back into water, confusing the snake as it approached and sank its fangs into Naruto. Naruto and his 9 other clones approached the snake from both above and below. Naruto slashed at one of the eyes, blinding the enormous serpent with a single blow. The snake thrashed violently, hissing in pain as 3 more clones were destroyed while the other one persisted in fighting. While some clones managed to sever the snake's belly, others leapt onto its back and started to chop away. All right, then, Naruto yelled as he leapt to a great height and raised his sword above his head. He descended at a fact arc and channeled chakra through his arms and sword. With all of his might, Naruto struck the snake's head vertically, severing it in half with a sword that sprayed blood all over Naruto. After the snake hit the ground, Naruto started wiping the blood off his face since he was now drenched. Ew, gross, he exclaimed, spitting out the blood that had gotten in his mouth. Naruto exclaimed, "Oh god, I need to rinse after this. Now, let's go find the bastard and the banshee." He then bolted back the way he had come. Alongside Sakura and Sasuke while battling an Orochimaru in disguise, Sasuke was getting kicked in the ass. He attempted a punch, but it was easily parried. Orochimaru flipped the boy and slammed him to the ground, saying, "Sasuke, how you disappoint me." Smiling, he added, "You are nowhere near Itachi's level." When Sasuke heard the name of his brother, he became furious. When Sasuke stood back up and tried to combat the renegade Sannin who was simply playing around with him, he exclaimed, "What do you know about Itachi, huh?" He said, "Well, Sasuke, you'll need to beat me and find out," and then kicked Sasuke several yards away. Sakura was hiding away, cowering, as Sasuke smacked into a tree. Sakura watched the battle unfold and realized she had no chance if Sasuke was losing. She then noticed Orochimaru approaching her and Sasuke cautiously. A dense fog started to descend on the area at that moment. Naruto's voice echoed through the mist, "So, you were the one who summoned the snake, huh?" Sakura and Sasuke both had flashbacks to their time in Wave with Zabuza upon hearing this. "That snake of yours tried to kill me," said Naruto. "But size isn't what matters in a fight, you know," he replied. Glancing around, Orochimaru burst out laughing. "Why don't you come out and fight me then, brat?" he asked, pulling his kusanagi out of his mouth. "Or are you too scared to face me?" he asked. Orochimaru was startled when Naruto suddenly said, "I'm already here." Naruto then swung his sword in an attempt to cut Orochimaru in half. Using his sword, Orochimaru deflected the attack, taking aback at the force of the blow. Orochimaru called Naruto a clever boy, before kicking him out of the way. Naruto then fled back into the mist. Orochimaru said, "That's a very smart strategy to use on a superior opponent, hit and run tactics, but sadly for you, I'm a veteran of the Second Great Shinobi War." With that, he reached out and plucked Naruto out of the mist, holding him by the neck. Orochimaru raised his sword to stab the boy, saying, "I've dealt with this kind of combat before." Sasuke then used his fire style, fireball jutsu, to launch a fireball at Orochimaru and Naruto. Sasuke didn't care that Naruto was in his way as long as he defeated Orochimaru. When Naruto realized this, he replaced it with a piece of wood and fell a short distance away. "What the hell, bastard?" he cried. "You almost cooked me with that weirdo there." "Shut it, loser," Sasuke growled. "Why should I care about?" Just as a curse mark started to appear on his neck, Orochimaru drove his fangs into Sasuke's neck. Then Orochimaru's head returned to his body, licking his lips as he uttered, "How merciless, Sasuke. Willing to sacrifice a comrade to save yourself. You will make an excellent addition." Then, he noticed that the mist had cleared and Naruto had stood back up. "I still want more," Orochimaru remarked, adjusting his sword grip. "Let's start, shall we?" he said. Without saying anything, Naruto charged at Orochimaru and swung his sword. Orochimaru attempted to stab Naruto by ducking beneath the blade. Orochimaru blocked a counterkick that Naruto parried and countered with, and Orochimaru then grabbed Naruto's leg and drew him in closer. Then, Orochimaru stabbed Naruto in a non-lethal spot, making sure that the poison on his blade would be the cause of his death. As the blade entered his body, Naruto yelled, "Gah fuck." In retaliation, he punched Orochimaru in the face, which caused the snake Sannin to retreat a short distance. Then, clutching at his wound, Naruto felt as though it were on fire. His vision was a little foggy, but other than that, he was fine. "Going to take more than that to stop me, you freak," he yelled as he straightened back into his stance. Orochimaru thought, "That's strange. The poison should have rendered him immobile, but he's still standing." Even more thrilled by the fight, Orochimaru exclaimed, "I need to find out why that is." Then, as soon as Orochimaru was close enough, he charged at Naruto, striking him twice with his sword. This time, Naruto managed to parry the first blow, but the second one still struck him in the right triceps. Fighting through agony, Naruto tried to counter with a stab, but Orochimaru sidestepped it with ease. Orochimaru then moved behind Naruto and grabbed him by the collar. Naruto started to cough up blood after Orochimaru threw him into a tree, shattering the wood. Naruto felt the chill of steel enter his body as soon as he opened his eyes. Looking down, he saw that Orochimaru had buried the kusanagi up to the hilt in his stomach. As Naruto started to regurgitate blood, he thought, oh god. Orochimaru pulled out his sword, letting Naruto fall to the ground and applying pressure to his wound. But sadly it must come to an end. Now to take care of your other teammate, he said, turning around and approaching a terrified Sakura. That was a fun little game, Naruto, Orochimaru said. As his vision faded, Naruto saw this and concluded, I may hate them, but I won't let them die. Then, using all of his remaining strength, Naruto closed his jaw and shattered the tooth by grabbing his shark tooth necklace and putting it in his mouth. Orochimaru felt a tiny splash of water hit the back of his neck as he strolled slowly toward Sakura. He turned around to see an enraged looking Kisame. Kisame roared. Raw, as he swung Samahata and took Orochimaru out of the tree. Kisame! Orochimaru exclaimed in confusion, "Water!" Orochimaru started until he noticed that the air was growing hotter. He then looked up to see a massive glob of lava descending over him. Then Orochimaru replaced himself with a log. Orochimaru turned as he touched down and saw two people standing there. May Terumi, who had an angry and deathly expression on her face, and Kisame Hoshigaki, who had an enraged expression on his. There were little sharks still clinging to their shoulders. You guys are free to leave, Kisame said, adding, I appreciate the reverse summon, as the two sharks nodded and exhaled smoke. Naruto said haltingly, you guys showed up, to which Kisame and May both grimaced. Next, Kisame created a water clone and dispatched it to retrieve him. To his clone, who nodded and fled, Kisame said, take him to the tower. This is over. Turning to Sakura, who was still cowering, he yelled, get up and get out of here you little shit. And take the other kid with you. Sakura hastily gathered Sasuke and set off to pursue the water clone. Kisame laughed as Orochimaru asked, Kisame, what are you doing here? I'm here to kill the one who was about to kill one of my brothers, he stated, leaving Orochimaru perplexed. Naruto, there is one of the 7 swordsmen. And you nearly killed him. You crossed a line you snaky bastard, said he. Cursing in his head, Orochimaru turned to face May and questioned, and who are you? May growled and said, I'm May Terumi, the 5th Mizukage. I'm going to be the last thing you see before you go to hell. May then assumed a taijutsu stance. As his hardest battle was about to begin, Orochimaru assumed a defensive stance. This isn't good, he thought to himself. I can't retreat because Kisame can easily catch up. I have to make a stand here. Naruto in the tower in the heart of the Death Forest. After being hurried into the tower and into the operating room on a stretcher, Naruto was removed and put on the operating table. Nurses and doctors flocked to treat Naruto's wound, starting to wash and rip off his clothes. A doctor, ripping off Naruto's clothes, exclaimed, what the hell happened to this kid? He got ran through by a sword. He then proceeded to get bandages and clotting supplies. A nurse called out, grabbing everyone's attention, isn't this Naruto Uzumaki? The boy? I heard that because of it, he has advanced healing. So why isn't the wound closing up? The doctor gave her a strange look. He put on a surgical mask and said, I don't know nor do I care. He's a ninja and that's that. I couldn't care less about it. He yelled, get Anko here goddammit, and get ready to operate. Kisame and May together Orochimaru dodged and retaliated as Kisame charged at him and swung Samahata at him. Orochimaru struck Kisame with his kusanagi. Since Kisame was actually a water clone, Kisame vanished into the water at the moment of contact. What? Orochimaru asked himself before Kisame struck him in the back. The muscle and flesh on Orochimaru's back were torn away by Samahata's spines as they tore into his flesh. Orochimaru was launched into the air, and upon landing, his mouth parted and he shed his former body. His respite was fleeting, though, as he looked up to see May in a tree, passing hand signals that read, lava style. Lava shrapnel. May then spit a glob of lava out of her mouth and sent it flying toward Orochimaru. Even though Orochimaru leapt a short distance away, it was not enough to save him. The lava glob exploded into hundreds of pieces as it hit the ground, melting the surrounding ground and lighting nearby shrubbery on fire. After being struck by several fragments, Orochimaru quickly extinguished the small fire that was on him while he was staring at his burned arm. Then, Orochimaru stretched his body and tried to bite May in order to give her a poison injection, but someone stopped him. Water style. Water shark bomb jutsu. Kisame launched 5 water sharks towards Orochimaru, causing the rogue Sannin to evade and giving May a chance. May then sent a mist of boiling temperatures in the direction of Orochimaru while he was busy dodging, calling it Boil Release. Corrosive Mist. The mist enveloped Orochimaru, leaving him helpless. Moments later, he collapsed to the ground, wailing in pain. Orochimaru's eyes had melted and his skin was peeling off. He then shed his body again and, as he regained his footing, he panted and breathed heavily. His chakra was limited. The more damage he sustains beforehand determines how much chakra is needed to prepare a new body, and the last attack required a lot of chakra. After Kisame and May touched down a few yards apart, Orochimaru spoke. Orochimaru yelled, "You Kiri trash, why are you two standing in my way? Why are you disrupting my plans?" Simple, Kisame grumbled, "You hurt one of my brothers, that's all," giving Orochimaru a wide-eyed expression. May grabbed Orochimaru's attention by saying, "You hurt the person I love. I never got to tell him how I feel, and if he dies, then, I don't know what I'll do. But I'll start with melting you to a puddle," she said, her expression intense. Orochimaru yelled, "Damn you both," before making hand gestures and slamming his hand onto the ground. Manda the snake boss then materialized, Orochimaru on top of him, shouting, "After I kill you two I'll kill that blonde brat and destroy Konoha. Then when I'm done Kiri is next." Gazing at Orochimaru, Kisame shook his head, saying, "You just signed your death certificate, snake boy." Preparing himself, Kisame added, "May take on Orochimaru. I got the big-ass snake." May said, "Okay, let's get started," as she and Kisame charged at Manda and Orochimaru. Among Naruto. In his dream world from behind the bars of his cell, the Kyuubi was staring down at an unconscious Naruto. What a pathetic sight, he thought to himself as he stared at his half-dead jailer. But this may be my opportunity to finally leave this cursed body. And I think I know where, he thought, chuckling darkly. Beyond the mental landscape after completing the procedure, the doctors examined Naruto, who had suffered significant blood loss and a weak heartbeat. The doctor ordered his nurses to get him a room prepared for him. "All that's left is to wait and see if he pulls through," the doctor said, leaving the room with his staff to start setting up Naruto's room. A quarter-sized seal materialized on the bottom of Naruto's sword shortly after they departed, and a tiny bit of red chakra moved from him to the weapon. Alongside Kisame after vaulting over Manda's tail and landing on the snake's body, Kisame used his sword to sever Manda's flesh, tearing it apart. Kisame was thrown off by Manda, who hissed in agony and started to smash trees. Kisame then got out and took off his ruined Akatsuki cloak. "Do you really think you can win against me?" Manda growled, "Foolish human," to which Kisame laughed. Kisame spat blood from his mouth and said, "A fight isn't over until it's over." He then charged at Manda while gesturing with his hands. "Arrogant bastard aren't you?" Kisame asked. "Water style. Water dragon." Suddenly, a water dragon materialized from the earth and approached Manda. Unfazed, Manda approached the dragon and confronted it head-on. After the dragon and Manda clashed, Manda defeated the water dragon. Nevertheless, he then noticed Kisame approaching from above, his sword raised above his head. Kisame bellowed, "Raw!" as he descended, using all of his strength to bring Samahata down on Manda's head. Samahata struck Manda in the head, and Kisame tore off a section of Manda's flesh and skull while dragging. Manda started to thrash around in agony until he noticed Kisame, at which point he let loose a torrent of poison from his mouth. Kisame avoided the poisoning just in time, but not before it attacked his left side and started to eat away at his flesh. Kisame felt the pain but held back his urge to scream as his face and arms started to bubble and melt. With his remaining arm, Kisame charged at Manda once more. As he approached, Kisame ducked and jumped as Manda started to swing his tail in an attempt to confuse Kisame. Kisame jumped a few feet away when he was old, dragging Samahata with him. He then tore open Manda's belly, releasing Manda's insides through the ripped hole. With one final blow, Kisame closed the jaw on Manda's head, causing the skull to collapse and allowing Samahata to seize control of Manda's brain. When Kisame leapt off the enormous snake, he tore Samahata apart and took a chunk of his brain with him. Manda collapsed to the ground, dead, while Kisame landed with a thump. As he called forth another healing shark, Kisame moaned, "Oh hell, first Itachi and now Orochimaru's pet. God, this is a bad week." As the shark nodded, he said, "Patch me up enough so I can fight again." Kisame then thought about rebuilding his hold on May, by removing the dead flesh. Alongside May parried another blow from Orochimaru's sword and retaliated by grabbing his arm. Then, with a judo technique, May flipped Orochimaru and took away his sword. After kicking May out of the way, Orochimaru managed to break free and realized he was quite a distance from his sword. After that, May performed hand signs that read, lava style, lava prison. May then spat out lava, which cooled and formed a dome over the sword. With a sly grin, May taunted the snake Sannin. No more sword now, Orochimaru. Are you going to give up and let me kill you, or are you still going to fight a fruitless battle? With a frown on his face, Orochimaru charged at May, a woman over half his age beating him. I will not be denied, Orochimaru yelled as he locked with May in a taijutsu duel. Orochimaru threw a punch that May blocked, then followed it up with a kick that landed, as they sparred. May felt her ribs pop, but she overcame the pain. Grabbing Orochimaru's leg, May lifted him up and gave him a hard, cracking smack on the ground. With a bloody cough, Orochimaru struck back with a kick that May managed to avoid. After passing through the hand signals that read, Earth Style, Earth Spikes, Orochimaru saw that Earth Spikes were emerging from the ground and moving in the direction of May. After that, May went through her own hand signs. May then spat out, Lava Style, Lava Wall, which hardened and formed a wall, stopping the Earth's spikes. May then looked over a second set of hanging signs that said, Earth Style, Cavern Creation. As Orochimaru wondered what was going on, he felt the ground tremble. Then, as he felt the ground give way beneath him and he fell about 30 feet before colliding with the bottom. He looked up to see May going through hand signals while standing at the edge. May then sent another cloud of boiling mist into the cavern enveloping Orochimaru, calling it a boil release. Corrosive mist. Orochimaru was unable to concentrate due to the pain caused by the corrosive mist. He was also unable to shed his body because doing so would have allowed the mist to attack his new body right away. May was making a long series of hand signs when she heard Orochimaru scream. Enjoy hell you bastard, May yelled as she completed her last sign, lava style. Great volcanic eruption. May then let loose a powerful current of lava into the cavern. As the tidal wave of lava crashed down on top of Orochimaru, he could only stare in horror from the bottom of the cavern. Orochimaru cried out, no, no please, as the lava engulfed him and started to fill the cavern. May maintained the jutsu for 3 more minutes until the lava was only a foot below the surface. At that point, she collapsed to her knees and gauzed her mouth due to her labored breathing. May stood up and winced in pain, thinking, that took up a lot of chakra, but I finished him off. May was thinking, my ribs are cracked, and, damn that was almost as bad as when I fought Yagura, when she heard Kisame's feet land behind her. May nodded in response to Kisame's question, is he dead? May chuckled and said, unless he can survive being at the bottom of 29 feet of lava. Kisame then asked, what happened to you? As she noticed that Kisame's right side was covered in shark and fish skin. Poison from the snake melted my flesh, Kisame stated. The skins are going to repair me and prevent infection. According to him, he said, you ready to go check on Naruto? May replied, 1 second, holding up a finger. Kisame laughed as May approached the lava dome, kicked it, broke it, and picked up Kusanagi to show it to her. Orochimaru won't be needing this, May remarked. Got a little war trophy now. She turned to Kisame and said, let's go. Forest Tower with Anko, Hiruzen, and the medical personnel. Outside of Naruto's room, Anko was rolling around on the ground in agony. Hiruzen asked, Anko, what is it? As he noticed that Anko was holding her neck, and when she moved her hand, he noticed that the curse mark was disappearing. What is it? Anko let out a moan. Hiruzen said, I think Orochimaru just died, which caused everyone to freeze. Alongside Sasuke in his own chamber, Sasuke remained unconscious as his curse mark started to fade, forcing him to display a painful expression until the process was finished and the mark vanished. After a few hours, Naruto groaned as he opened his eyes and said, oh god, what happened? While surveying his surroundings. A deep voice said, you got stabbed, what do you think happened? Startling Naruto enough to make him sit up until the pain from his wound caused him to fall back down. Naruto asked, who's there? After glancing around and finding nobody. The voice said, look at your sword, and Naruto turned to face his weapon, which was roughly 4 feet away. Naruto screamed and the voice began to laugh as he saw the reflection of a gigantic nine-tailed fox named Boo in the reflection. The sword remarked, "Ha ha ha, that was worth the wait," as 4 figures with drawn weapons suddenly blasted into the room. When Hiruzen, May, Kisame, and Anko stormed in prepared to fight, they were met with a terrified Naruto. "Naruto!" May yelled as she rushed to embrace and kissed him on the cheek. "Are you okay?" "I was so," she started. With a gesture toward his sword, Naruto exclaimed, "My sword just talked." Kisame remarked, perplexed by Naruto's claim, "What, the executioner's blade is sentient like Samahata?" "No one but you can hear me, boy." The blade stated, "I transferred myself over to the sword to escape being inside you. If I'm to be used as a weapon, I'd rather be an actual weapon. Besides, now I will be cherished instead of hated," he said with a scowl. Naruto asked, "Why would you do that instead of just leaving my body and going on a rampage?" Leaving everyone in the room stunned. "I'm now attached to the sword, but I left my chakra in you. Therefore, I will now be your partner and the partner of the next owner of the sword," Kyuubi said, causing Naruto to start perspiring. "Simple. I hate humans, but I hate you the least," he said before nodding off. "Now you better explain this to those humans and the fishman. They're looking at you like you're crazy." With a gulp, Naruto turned to face Hiruzen and Kisame. "So, about my sword," he started. After 5 minutes, Kisame was pondering while Hiruzen was gazing intently at the sword. "I consider this a complete victory," Kisame said indifferently, causing Hiruzen to give him a wide-eyed stare. Concerned, Hiruzen remarked, "The most powerful Biju in existence is now in a sword. What happens if someone kills Naruto and takes the sword?" Then Naruto turned to face the sword and gave a nod. "Kyuubi says he'll only fight with those he accepts," Naruto remarked, causing Hiruzen to sigh heavily. "Otherwise, if someone steals him, he'll burn his hands." With a worried nod from Naruto, Hiruzen pointed at him and said, "Naruto, don't mention this to anyone. I have to look at every angle. If someone hears that the Kyuubi is inside the sword, there will be riots in the street and calls for your head." Naruto said, "Okay G, then turned to face Kisame and May. "Hey, what happened to that weird guy who attacked us?" Naruto inquired, to which May replied with a smile. Everyone started to perspire when May said, "Oh, I buried him in lava. No big deal. I'm just glad you're okay, Naruto. I was really worried," she added, making Naruto blush. Then Anko approached Naruto and said, "Hey Blondie," grabbing his attention. "Technically you failed to complete the second exam," Anko continued, causing Naruto to look defeated. "But since Orochimaru, an S-class ninja, interrupted your test, I'm willing to give you and your team a pass," Anko said, causing Naruto to look up. This made Naruto smile. Anko pointed at May and said, "You should really thank her for passing you, kid. It's mostly a favor to her for killing Orochimaru. So, don't expect any more help from me." Then, Anko turned around and left. When Kisame approached and gave Naruto a shoulder pat, the latter grinned and said, "You took one hell of a beating, kid. There was no way you could beat Orochimaru. But you stayed and fought despite the odds," Kisame added. Before turning around and leaving, Kisame remarked, "You certainly earned those teeth. Catch you later, kid," Kisame said before disappearing. May addressed Hiruzen as Lord Hokage, grabbing her interest. "Can I talk to Naruto in private?" she asked, to which Hiruzen nodded. After glancing at Naruto, Hiruzen said, "Of course, Lady May. I'll come back for a debrief later." He then left, shutting the door behind him. "Naruto," May said gravely, setting Naruto on edge. "I need to talk to you about something," May continued. Alongside May and Naruto, May genuinely said, "Naruto, there's something I need to talk to you about." May approached the bed and took a seat next to Naruto as he regarded her anxiously and stammered out, W. What do you need to talk to me about?" "Naruto," May whispered, "I saw you as a student, someone I can shape to bring out your full potential when I first started training you." Naruto nodded. "When that incident happened, I saw you as someone precious to me. You comforted me when I was at my weakest and did not look at me differently afterwards," May continued. "Then, the next day I had realized that I began to see you differently," she said as she looked at Naruto. "What do you mean, May?" Naruto asked, feeling a glimmer of hope rising within him. May responded by inhaling deeply. May dropped the bombshell, saying, "I saw you for who you were on the inside. Honest, brave, strong, full of potential, and the eyes, hair, and teeth don't hurt either. I began to develop romantic feelings towards you, Naruto, May said. I was worried that if I let my feeling be known that you will not accept them, May replied. I'm older than you and I know it may seem like a problem. And I'm also the Mizukage now, so it will also be a political firestorm. May replied. May said, crying, but when I saw you hurt and barely alive, my heart started to break. I honestly thought I was going to lose you for a minute. I couldn't imagine what I'd do if I lost you. Because I love you, Naruto, May said, turning to face Naruto. After realizing with shock that she loves me, like actually loves me, Naruto swallowed hard and said, May, at which point May braced herself. When you were training me and I called you Queen May, it was only a half joke, Naruto explained. I admired you, May. You are strong, beautiful and independent, but also kind, understanding and sensitive. I had no idea how a no-name orphan like me got a sensei like you, Naruto said with a chuckle. May's eyes widened as Naruto said, when you left, it felt like a part of me left with you. When you were feeling down, I felt like I had to try my hardest to cheer you up, and when you left a few days ago my heart began to hurt. I think what I'm saying is that I love you too, May, Naruto said, blushing and grinning. Before Naruto knew it, May had seized him and embraced him. You mean that? You really mean that? May exclaimed, breaking down in tears of happiness. Upon hearing a muffled reply, she looked down and realized she had smothered Naruto by pulling him into her breast. Crap, Naruto, I'm sorry, May said, releasing him as he gasped for breath. May blushed from embarrassment and said, okay. Huff. I wasn't. Huff. Expecting that, Naruto said with a laugh. May then playfully punched him in the arm. The age thing isn't a problem for me. So, if you want. After the exam is over, we can go on a date. Naruto grinned at May, to which May nodded. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. I became Mizukage, I made my confession, May started, her eyes widening. Yes, that sounds perfect, she smiled. Naruto tensed as May stood up and yelled, oh shit. May glanced at Naruto as he worriedly said, what is it? May started to pace the room and said, my ceremony is supposed to be happening now, which caused Naruto's eyes to widen. Oh. I hope Ao could find a way to make it work, May added. In Kiri. We're pleased to introduce May Terumi as your new Mizukage, Ao said as May emerged, waving to the assembled people while donning her cage robes. As he was hanged as May, Kojiro thought, Lady May, I'm so sorry. I swear, I will do my best as your bodyguard to impersonate you until your return. Sweating profusely, Ao stared at May and thought, damn it all to hell. We just got to the village and a shark summons her away. Someone better be dead or dying by the time this is all over. As the ceremony went on, Ao thought, well, I have her policies she wants put in place so me and Kojiro should be able to wing it until she returns. Stage 2 Arena of the Chunin exam, 4 days later. Along with the other teams that had passed, Team Asuma, Team Guy, Gaara's team, a grass team, a sound team, and another Konoha team, Naruto, a lethargic Sasuke, and Sakura were standing in formation. A total of 20.1 teams had passed. After explaining why the Chunin exams were necessary and that there were now too many participants, the Hokage announced that a preliminary match would be held to reduce the number of participants. One Konoha ninja raised his hand and said, name and reason, to Hayate Gecko, the referee. Okay, so anyone want to drop out before we begin, Hayate said. Kabuto Yakushi declared, I want to drop out because I don't think I'm ready. What a loser, Sasuke chuckled, if you... Sasuke started, but Naruto shoved him in the stomach, taking away his breath. Before turning to face Kabuto, Naruto remarked, just shut up, bastard. No shame dude. Better luck next time. Kabuto grinned in response. Thank you, I really appreciate it, Kabuto said as he started to leave the arena. I'll make sure there won't be a brat the next time, he thought to himself ominously. As the electronic board above the arena started to scroll through names and eventually stopped on Sakura Haruno versus Karen Uzumaki. Those two stay down here. The rest of you go to the balcony, Hayate exclaimed. Okay, then let's get this show started, shall we? Ninjas with their senseis started to approach the balconies. When Kakashi noticed Naruto walking, she said, Naruto, I'm so glad that But before he could finish, Naruto walked straight past him and toward May. With a serious expression on his face, Naruto said, "May. Her last name is Uzumaki. What is the likelihood of us being related?" May gave him a thoughtful look. May remarked, "It's not a very common name. I recommend talking to her when her match is over." Naruto nodded in agreement. Below the arena, Sakura was staring at her opponent, a pasty redhead with glasses. This should be a piece of cake, Sakura thought to herself as she clenched her knuckles. As Karen adjusted her glasses, she was staring at Sakura with intense focus. She probably uses genjutsu based on her muscle mass and her low chakra level, Karen thought to herself. I should not fool around or underestimate her. All right, then, Hayate said, lifting his arm. First match. Sakura Haruno vs Karen Uzumaki. Let's get started. Hayate leapt back, and the fight began. As Sakura pulled out multiple shuriken and hurled them towards Karen, a chain of chakra materialized from behind Karen's back, swatting the weapons out of the air. Sakura then ran at Karen while making hand gestures to execute a genjutsu as Karen sent the chain in Sakura's direction. As Sakura walked up to Karen, she thought, this should do it. Let's see you try and, Sakura continued, thinking until a second chain protruded from Karen and nailed Sakura in the chest. Karen said, genjutsu doesn't work on me, Pinky, before putting the chain around Sakura's neck and starting to strangle her. After Sakura resisted the chain for a minute and fainted, Karen released her, and Hayate leapt into the arena to see how Sakura was doing. Karen Uzumaki is the winner, declared Hayate. As Karen started to leave the arena, she heard applause and cheers. Naruto yelled to Karen, yeah, way to go. You kicked her ass. Karen blushed at the compliment and moved to approach the blonde boy. Naruto chastised Kakashi. How can you support a foreign ninja who just defeated Sakura? She's your teammate. Naruto scoffed. I would prefer not to be associated with her if she loses so easily, Naruto remarked, dismissing Kakashi. You little. Makashi started to approach Naruto, but May intervened. May smirked and said, if you have a problem with my student, you talk to me first. Kakashi asked, do you know who you're talking to? And May grinned even more. May smiled and said, no, but you are speaking with May Terumi, the new Mizukage and Naruto's sensei, which made Kakashi blush. Then, May stopped smiling and leaned in close, saying, you better back off if you don't want to end up as a bubbling puddle on the ground. Kakashi gave her a sidelong glance before returning to Sasuke and taking a position next to him. Observing the conversation, Naruto laughed and said, that was pretty cool. May grinned back. At that moment, he noticed Karen coming toward him. Hey, Karen Uzumaki, right? Naruto asked, and Karen nodded. That's right. Karen corrected her glasses, and may I ask who you are? With curiosity. Then, causing Karen's eyes to widen, Naruto entered and whispered, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I think we may be related. I'm not sure, but keep it to yourself, okay? I can sense your chakra, so I can tell you're not lying, Karen whispered to him as she turned to face him. Since I won, I'll be staying in Konoha. So, we can figure everything out later, she continued. Karen said, let's see the remaining matches first, okay? And Naruto nodded. Inside the arena. All right, let's get started with the second match, Hayate said as the scoreboard lit up. Gaara of the Desert versus Zaku of Otto, she said. Gaara and an Otto boy, who had spiky hair and a yellow shirt, walked into the arena. Zaku told Gaara, get ready to lose red, but the boy was unfazed, saying, HMPH, too scared to talk fine with me. Hayate yelled, okay, second match, Gaara vs Zaku. Start, as he leapt backward. Zaku then launched an offensive, pointing his hands at Gaara and exposing tubes in them. Decapitating airwave, was Zaku's cry as he unleashed a barrage of compressed air on Gaara. Just as the attack was about to land, a wall of sand opened up, revealing Gaara standing unharmed. Is that all? A bored Gaara asked, while Zaku snorted and got ready for more fun. Take this, Zaku commanded, unleashing a second burst of air toward Gaara, who was once more shielded by the sand. You bore me, Gaara uttered in a monotone voice, calling Zaku a one-trick pony. He then launched a wave of sand after Zaku. When Zaku noticed the sand getting closer, he rushed towards Gaara and leapt over the wave. However, Zaku's leg got caught in the sand, causing him to become trapped. The boy was instantly killed by the sand that held him when Gaara lifted him into the air with one hand outstretched and opened, calling it a sand coffin, before clenching his fist. After releasing the sand and allowing Zaku's crushed body to fall to the ground, Gaara turned to face the balcony, where he saw Naruto, who was now standing there in shock over what he had just witnessed. With a smile on her face, Gaara walked back up to the balcony, where Hayate leapt down to take a closer look at what was left of Zaku. "Goddamn," thought Hayate, and she declared, "Winner by death, Gaara." Hayate yelled, "Medics," as a medical team arrived and removed Zaku's body. On the terrace with his eyes wide open, Naruto exclaimed, "Holy shit, he killed him like he was nothing." May turned to face a trembling Karen after thinking to herself, "He's just like Yagura, bloodthirsty and ruthless." May had been staring at the red-headed boy. May questioned, "Karen, what's wrong?" And Karen answered. Karen remarked, "His chakra is vile and evil. I hope I'm not the one who has to fight him next." Naruto nodded. Naruto said, "Yeah, I hope so too," as he, May, and Karen all cast their eyes downward in anticipation of the next fight. Within the arena, as the names on the board were read aloud, Hayate said, "Okay, next match will be Sasuke Uchiha vs Yoroi Akato." Result is identical to canon, Hayate declared. Next match will be Ino Yamanaka vs Kinsuchi. Come down. A few minutes after Sasuke left the arena to receive medical attention, Kin and Ino descended into the arena and took up positions opposite one another. "I hope you fight harder than that girl with the pink hair," Kin grinned. "But from the way you look, it seems like you're just a bunch of weak excuses for a kunoichi," Ino grimaced. Kin laughed as Ino yelled, "Shut it, bitch. I'll kick your ass back to whatever hole you crawled out of." "Okay. Next up is Ino Yamanaka vs Kinsuchi," Hayate yelled, jumping away. "Begin." Kin threw a hail of senbon at Ino to begin the fight. Ino dodged and threw multiple shuriken at Kin. After hiding beneath the shuriken, Kin charged at Ino, punching her in the face so hard that she saw stars. After coming to her senses, Ino assumed her taijutsu stance and engaged Kin in combat. Since Ino wasn't a combat type, their battles mainly consisted of Ino attacking and Kin countering. After Kin parried one of Ino's blows with a kick, which knocked Ino against the wall, Ino looked up, her vision foggy as Kin moved to approach her. As she made an odd hand gesture, Ino thought, "I'm getting my ass kicked. I have no choice," Kin thought, stopping Ino in her tracks. A few seconds went by with nothing happening. "What's wrong, Blondie?" Kin teased. "You." Kin started until she winced, at which point Ino went limp and confused everyone. Alongside Karen, May, and Naruto. May shrugged her shoulders and asked, "How did Ino pass out?" Naruto inquired. May said, "I don't know, but why is that sound girl just standing there?" Karen responded. Karen adjusted her glasses and said, "Ino isn't passed out. She just did a giant Hail Mary, and it looks like it paid off," further confusing Naruto and May. Within the arena then, Kin straightened up and said, "I Kinsuchi forfeit my match to Ino Yamanaka." When Hayate realized what had occurred, she spoke up. Pointing to an unconscious Ino, Hayate declared, "Winner is Ino Yamanaka." Turning to face Kin, Hayate said, "You can transfer back to your body now," and Kin nodded. Kin collapsed to the ground, unconscious, as Ino undid the jutsu and returned to her own body. When Ino opened her eyes and grinned, she realized she had won, but she also realized she had almost lost because that girl was kicking my ass. As she got up and started to climb the stairs to the balcony, she thought, "I need to get stronger. I need to get more serious." Her teammates congratulated her on her Pyrrhic victory. Alongside Karen, May, and Naruto. Naruto remarked, "She can project her mind onto other people," and Karen nodded. Karen replied, "Yes, she can." Naruto gave himself a head rub. "You two are from the same village, how do you not know that?" Karen asked. Naruto sheepishly replied, "Well, I really never paid attention to any of that stuff." A moment later, he felt a hand touch his shoulder and turned to see a grinning May. Naruto looked at the next set of names, Dosu vs Naruto Uzumaki, and said, "Looks like it's your time to shine," to which May pointed at the board. "Show them what you got, Naruto," May said, and Naruto nodded. "Wait here, buddy," Naruto said to Kurama. "I'm sorry I ain't going to use you. I don't want to kill the guy," Naruto said, grinning, as he started to descend the stairs to his match. "Alright May," Naruto said, taking the sword off his back and leaning it against the wall. Kurama looked around and noticed Karen staring at the sword with wide eyes. "HMPH little shit," he said. "The first fight he gets into since I transferred into the sword and he doesn't want to use me. Ain't this a bitch?" Karen yelled at the sword, "You can talk," causing everyone in the vicinity to stare at her as if she were insane. "You hear me?" Kurama yelled back, startled as well. "How can she hear me? Only the brat should be able to hear me," Kurama reasoned as Karen sought cover behind May. Inside the arena opposite Dosu, a mummy. Like Gut from Otto, Naruto had a strange gauntlet-like object on his arm. Naruto said, "You ready to lose, mummy boy?" which caused Dosu to laugh. Dosu said, "In your dreams, kid," taking a fighting stance and declaring, "I'm the last member of the sound team. I will win for my village." Hayate said, "Okay, you both ready?" And the boys nodded. "Okay. Naruto versus Dosu. Begin?" he yelled, leaping away to signal the start of the match. Dosu and Naruto stood motionless, assessing each other before Naruto made the decision to attack first. Dosu ducked as Naruto fired multiple water bullets at him while using hand signals. Dosu then ran in Naruto's direction. When Dosu threw a punch at Naruto, the latter was able to dodge it at the last second and looked at Dosu as he landed a short distance away. At that moment, Naruto started to shake and throw up, and his vision started to blur. Alongside May and Karen, May said, "What the hell?" Karen exclaimed, "Naruto didn't even get hit, what happened?" "I think I know," May replied. "It probably has something to do with that gauntlet of his," May replied. Alongside Naruto, when Naruto's vision returned to normal, he turned to face Dosu and thought, "What the hell was that?" He then removed his canteen belt and thought, "I can't get hit by whatever that was again." After that, Naruto gestured with his hand and threw the water onto the ground. Dosu closed his eyes and started to listen intently as Naruto said softly, "Hidden mist jutsu," as a dense cloud of mist covered the arena floor. A punch to the face then caught Dosu off guard. He looked in the direction he had just been hit, but saw nothing. Then another blow to the back struck him. "You know why it's called the silent killing technique," Naruto said, his voice disembodied. "I think I figured out your little trick," he continued, infuriating Dosu. As he raised his gauntlet, Dosu yelled, "You don't know anything." At that moment, Dosu released a wave of sound. The mist vanished the next instant, and Naruto was standing a few feet away, his ears gushing blood. Naruto thought, "Crap, I really thought that would work. I guess I'll just have to fight him from a distance." When Naruto sent a water blade at Dosu, the latter raised his arm to use his gauntlet as a shield, and Naruto leapt back a few feet and passed through hand signals that said, "Water style. Water blade." Then, as the gauntlet took a severe gash that almost went through, Dosu felt the full force of the jutsu strike his arm. He then witnessed Naruto approaching while making hand signals. Water style. Water prison. Dosu became aware that the water was encircling him as he was subsequently imprisoned inside a water dome by Naruto. "Alright. Let's move on to phase 2, Naruto thought as he produced 4 shadow clones and placed their hands on the prison with a one-handed gesture signifying Shadow Clone Jutsu. Dosu watched in horror as the clones started to form water bullets on their hands before the defenseless Dosu was attacked by the Naruto clones. A few minutes later, Naruto let go of the jutsu and collapsed to the ground. He then went to grab Dosu by the collar. With all of his might, Naruto returned his fist and struck Dosu in the jaw, knocking the boy unconscious. "Winner Naruto Uzumaki," declared Hayate as he knelt down and turned to face Dosu. Naruto said, "Hey, did you hear me? You won." In response to Hayate's announcement, Naruto was left with only the sound of buzzing as Hayate moved in front of him and started speaking. "What?" yelled Naruto. May then leapt to pick him up and carried him out of the arena. "May, where are we going?" yelled Naruto. After a short while, Naruto went to the medical bay to get his ears fixed, then he came back with May. Fixing the cotton in his ears, Naruto exclaimed, "God, my ears hurt." May sighed, "I wish the fight was a little longer. I really wanted to show my stuff." As she and Naruto ascended the stairs to the balcony, May remarked, "Well, when you fight a one-trick pony like that Dosu boy, it's really easy to beat them once you know their tricks. After all, you can't just use only 1 or 2 techniques. That's just a very bad fighting strategy," May added. In the world of canon, Naruto sniffed and asked, "What was that?" before shrugging his shoulders and asking, "So what should I do for training today? Rasengan and shadow clones? Or try to learn another technique?" Naruto then entered the training area. Shadow clones and Rasengan are all the techniques I need," Naruto uttered while making his signature hand gesture. Returning to the narrative, when May and Naruto went back to where they had been sitting on the balcony, Karen was seated close to Naruto's sword. Kurama nodded as Karen said to the sword, "So, you have 8 other siblings?" Karen nodded as Kurama remarked, "Yes, there are 9-tailed beasts overall. We were all split up when the first Hokage sold us off, bastard human." "I understand how that feels," Karen remarked while stroking the bite marks beneath her blouse. Naruto approached Karen and said, "Hey Karen, I'm back. You been talking to the fox?" Karen nodded. Naruto grinned and replied, "Yes, he was telling me about his past before he got captured by the first Hokage." Karen asked, "How are your ears?" As he went to pick up his sword, Naruto said, "Nothing permanent, thank Kami. So did I miss anything?" he asked, to which Karen shook her head. Karen and Naruto both glanced down at the arena and said, "No, the next fight hasn't been announced yet." In the following 2 hours, numerous more matches were played. Neji Hyuga over Choji Akamichi. Neji prevailed. Random Grass Jobber 1 vs Rock Lee. Lee prevails. Tenten vs Tamari. Tamari prevails. Random Grass Jobber 2 vs Konkuro. Konkuro wins. Winner: Shikamaru Nara over Masumi Tsurugi. To be completely honest, nobody really cares about the other fights, so I'm just going to ignore them. Inside the arena, while Sasuke was absent because he was still weak from his fight, Naruto, Lee, Shikamaru, Karen, Ino, Neji, Gaara, Tamari, and Konkuro stood in a line to hear who they would fight in the finals. "Alright, everyone, you all drew a lot, so this is who you are going to fight," Hayate declared. Naruto grinned more than he had ever before as he recognized his opponent. Ino Yamanaka vs Karen Uzumaki. Sasuke Uchiha vs Naruto Uzumaki. Gaara vs Neji Hyuga. Lee vs Tamari. Shikamaru vs Konkuro. "Good luck and see you at the finals," Hayate said, dismissing the remaining competitors. "You all have 1 month to train," Hayate continued. Naruto grinned wickedly as he started to leave with May, saying, "Oh man, this is too good. It looks like me and Sasuke's fated showdown is going to happen sooner than I thought. And in front of the village no less," Naruto remarked. May smiled and said, "Well, you have a month to prepare, Naruto, but remember we have to do something first." Naruto nodded. "Yes, it's true, how could I have forgotten," Naruto said, shaking his head. "Don't worry, May, we're going out tonight." "Sounds good," May replied. May said, "That would be best. I would like to go out before I leave because I need to head back to Kiri's soon." Naruto nodded. "Don't worry, I know exactly what to do," he replied. Anko, Ino, Karen, and Naruto spent an hour together in his apartment. "I've never been out on a date, so I need your help to make sure I don't screw it up," Naruto said, as Ino, Anko, and Karen listened. "I have no idea what the fuck to do," he continued. Ino nodded and got to his feet. "Yes, I can assist," Ino replied, "but the only reason I'm doing this is because I firmly believe in true love." Naruto nodded as Ino remarked, "I can help you in the clothing department, make you look a little more presentable." Karen offered to teach Naruto some manners, saying, "I can tell by your mannerisms you are not very versed in manners." Naruto looked down in embarrassment. "Well, it's not like I had anyone to instruct me," Naruto remarked. "How can you assist me with Anko?" Anko smirked in response. "Well, as a woman who's been on her fair share of dates, I can give you pointers on what to do to woo May," Anko replied. "Okay, great," cheered Naruto. "When do we start?" Anko then grinned menacingly. She stated, "Right now," before taking out a straight razor. "You have to shave first," she added, and Naruto swallowed. He revealed his face and said, "But I don't have any facial hair." Anko said, making Naruto pale, while laughing evilly, "I didn't say shave your face." At May's hotel later that evening, May was getting ready for her date with Naruto as she left the hotel where she was staying. She had on a blue dress, matching lipstick, and sandals. "I hope I didn't get too dolled up," May thought nervously. Despite being older, her circumstances have prevented her from going on many dates. Naruto said, May, is that you? And May turned to face him. His outfit consisted of a basic orange dress shirt, black pants, and more elegant shinobi sandals. It was stylish but not overly so. Rubbing the back of his head, Naruto exclaimed, Wow May, you look great. May said, You look good to Naruto. Shall we go now? And Naruto nodded. Naruto approached Karen and held out his arm, saying, Yeah, let's hit it. He assumed this would be a gentlemanly exchange. As May and Naruto started to leave on their date, she noticed what Naruto had done and linked arms with him, thinking, How gentlemanly. But 3 pairs of eyes were observing from the shadows. Anko looked back at Ino and Karen and said, Okay, so far so good. Let's go stay quiet and keep a good distance back. Both girls nodded in agreement. In the eatery, rather than follow his original plan, Naruto made the decision to visit the barbecue restaurant that Ino and her team often visit. The host said, Welcome to Naruto, and Naruto's eyes widened. Naruto said, Hey Kato, how are you doing? I haven't seen you since you used to work at Ichiraku. Kato grinned. Naruto grinned and said, Not too bad, you look a lot different, nice teeth. Who's your lady friend? He inquired. Gazing at May, Naruto declared, She's my date. Hello, May Terumi, nice to meet you. May grinned, and Kato turned to face Naruto. Kato inquired, How did you land a babe like her? Naruto shrugged. May chuckled as Naruto remarked, I'm still trying to figure that out myself. Oh yeah. Table for 2 please, Naruto continued, and Kato nodded. You got it. Come with me, Kato said, leading Naruto and May to their table. Naruto took a seat across from May, placed their drink orders, and waited for their food to be served. May grinned as Naruto remarked, So, let's get to know each other, our first date. May said, Okay, what's your favorite color other than orange? And Naruto gave her a moment of thoughtful looking. May chuckled as Naruto remarked, I'd say red, not sure why. How about you? Naruto inquired. May nodded as she said, I'd say purple is my second choice. The color of royalty. May had a contemplative expression on her face. On the roof across the street, Anko, Ino, and Karen observed the ongoing date and expressed genuine admiration. Karen nodded in agreement with the other two, saying, So far, so good. Naruto's bug is working perfectly. We can hear the conversation perfectly. Anko laughed as Ino remarked, I can't believe the Anbu let you keep all this stuff. You kidding me? Anbu funding is practically limitless. Just look at their recreation room, Anko remarked, pulling the other 3 back to concentrate on May and Naruto. May and Naruto kept taking until their food arrived. They ate and talked while I took bites. Talking about his adventures with Hiruzen, Iruka, and Konohamaru. Naruto made May laugh by saying, So Konohamaru used the sexy jutsu and Ibisu got mad. Then I created 100 shadow clone and used my harem jutsu. It was pretty funny seeing him pass out. Later, when Naruto was staring at her like a child during story time, May talked to him about the less depressing aspects of her life, including some of the highlights of the Kiri Civil War. Yagura was by far the worst opponent I ever fought. He made that Orochimaru I fought in the forest look like a joke, May said. Although he had the 3 tails inside him and was the Mizukage, so no surprise there. In the end, due to my bloodline, I was able to overpower him and win the battle. By the time the date came to an end, Naruto had paid the restaurant and May had followed suit, talking the entire way back to May's hotel. May held Naruto's hand and said, Well, I think that went well. It was fun but civil, nothing too extravagant but nothing too boring. Naruto nodded. Yeah, I was super nervous when it first started, Naruto replied, but I had fun too. We got to know each other better and get a little closer, he replied. May kissed Naruto's cheek as they approached her hotel. I had fun, Naruto, May remarked. I'm glad we got to do this before I go back to Kiri, May continued, and Naruto nodded. Yes, I'm delighted too. Naruto blushed and smiled. Good night, May. I'll see you tomorrow, he said as May said goodbye and made her way back into the hotel. After a while, Naruto started to move away. At that point, Ino, Karen, and May all leapt out from their hiding places and grinned at Naruto. Anko said, Look at you, stud. Nothing went wrong on our first date, and Ino nodded. I'm glad everything went great, Ino remarked, giving Naruto a tick mark. I was half expecting you to do something stupid. Karen adjusted her glasses and said, Now then, Naruto. Our deals for helping you, Naruto sighed in response. Okay, Naruto said, glancing at Anko. I owe you some dango, Naruto continued, to which Anko gave a fist pump. Pointing to Ino, who nodded, Naruto said, I owe you a boyfriend. Naruto said to Karen, and I owe you some books. What's the name of the series? Everyone looked surprised when Karen declared, I want the Ichiraku series. Naruto moaned, oh god, you read the same porn books as Kakashi. Karen exclaimed, it's not porn ass wipe. It's romantic literature with erotic content, causing Naruto to start to perspire. Naruto said, so, porn got it, which infuriated Karen. Now then, I'm going home to get ready for tomorrow, Naruto concluded before turning to leave. The Hokage tower the next day. Hiruzen was staring at Sasuke and Kakashi, who had been summoned to the Hokage office just as they were ready to depart for their training for the Chunin exam finals. Barely able to contain his rage, Hiruzen said, Kakashi. When Naruto got hurt, I asked him to give me a debrief and what I heard was. Concerning, Hiruzen said, unnerving Kakashi. Kakashi nervously questioned, what did you hear? Hey, tell me why would Sasuke do that? Hiruzen said, pointing to Sasuke. When Naruto was fighting Orochimaru. Sasuke here shot a fireball at both Orochimaru and Naruto. If it would have hit, it could have hurt or killed both Orochimaru and Naruto. Sasuke scoffed. The entire village would have been upset if the idiot had been killed, Sasuke remarked, causing Kakashi to stare at him with wide eyes. He's just a loser from a clan that is less powerful, Sasuke continued. But Hiruzen suddenly appeared in front of him and struck him across the face, causing him to spit up blood and fall to the ground. Hiruzen yelled, shut your mouth you little shit, radiating killing intent. You're lucky that I can't punish you directly because it was a military exercise, he yelled, and Kakashi got to his feet. Lord Hokage, I had no idea that happened, Kakashi said, glaring at Hiruzen. I would never have allowed or told Sasuke to do such a thing. Hiruzen approached the man and said, even so, this is still a failure on your part, Hitaki. If you trained your team right, this would not be a problem. Kakashi nodded. Sasuke is going to fight Naruto in the finals. And Naruto is not going to take it easy on him. He will do everything short of killing Sasuke during the exam. So, you better be prepared for the consequences, Hiruzen stated. Standing up, Sasuke declared, I won't lose to that idiot. No matter what kind of training he did, he's still the same loser. Before Hiruzen gave him a death glare, Sasuke started speaking. Both Kakashi and Sasuke fled the office as Hiruzen yelled, unless you want to join the rest of your clan 6 feet under you better get out of my goddamn office. Then, sighing, Hiruzen sat back down in his chair and said, I can't wait to see that smug Uchiha get that grin knocked off his face by Naruto. When Hiruzen heard a knock at the door, he said, come in. At that moment, Sume Inuzuka entered through the open door. Sume smirked and said, hello Lord Hokage. I'm here for our meeting. As she shut the door and locked it, Hiruzen left. Hiruzen then installed a privacy barrier and went through hand signs. Well, I'm glad you're here, Sume, Hiruzen said. Maybe you can help me out. I'm a little stressed out from dealing with Kakashi and Sasuke. Sume blushed. Oh, I can help all right, Sume said as she approached him, took a seat on his lap, and said, let's get the meeting started. She then planted a kiss on Hiruzen. As he returned Sume's kiss, Hiruzen thought, God, I love my life sometimes. Alongside Naruto, May, Kisame, Itachi, and Raiga outside the village walls. May hugged Naruto back, and he said, come back soon, okay? May nodded. May replied, of course, I will. I'll be back soon, right before the final exams, and I'll be there to watch you fight. Naruto nodded. Then, Naruto turned to face Raiga. Naruto thanked Raiga for escorting her back, and Raiga gave him a thumbs up. Raiga replied, no problem, kid. It's not that long of a trip. Should take me a week or so. Kisame gave him a strange look in response. Kisame questioned, what about Renmara? Where's he at? Raiga laughed. Raiga replied, already taken care of. Hyuga mixture. Hiyashi saw Iruka and Renmara standing there. Due to Renmara's guardian being on a mission, he requires somewhere to stay, Iruka said with a grin on his face. And from what Renmara tells me, Hanabi is his best friend in the academy, so we were wondering if you can take him in, he responded. Very well, Hiyashi said. Taking a moment to consider the boy's reaction, "Hanabi," Hiyashi called. Hanabi did not have time to finish because she noticed Renmara standing there. "Yes, Fath." Hanabi blushed as Renmara said, "Hey Hanabi, how's it going?" "Renmara, what are you doing here?" Hanabi questioned tensely. Hiyashi blushed more and said, "Renmara will be staying here for a little while. Please take him to a guest room." At that point, Renamaru ran up and grabbed Hanabi's hand. Renmara said, "We get to have a sleepover, isn't that great?" and Hanabi gave a nod. Hanabi stammered, "Why? Why? Why? Yes, it is," leading Renmara to his room. Reunited with Naruto and the group with a sly smile that made Naruto shudder, Kisame said, "Okay, enough with the mushy crap. We got to get going. You got a month to train and I'm going to run your ass into the ground." Naruto felt a hand on his shoulder and saw Itachi grinning. May glanced at Itachi as he said, "Don't worry, I'll be there too. I'm going to teach you some taijutsu and how to counter Sasuke's Sharingan." "I mean, I appreciate you helping Naruto, but why sabotage your own brother?" May asked, drawing a look of confusion from both Naruto and Itachi. May and Raiga started to perspire when Itachi said angrily, "Because he's a dick, that's why." Kisame said, "Okay, let's get going. We're burning daylight," and Naruto nodded. "Goodbye May. Goodbye Raiga. See you guys soon." Naruto waved as he and Kisame and Itachi left. As she started to leave with Raiga, May said, "Bye, Naruto, see you soon." A week later, Riverfront Training Camp. Kisame was holding Naruto's sword while he watched a sparring match between Itachi and Naruto, curious to see how Naruto would fare without it. After that, Naruto sent Itachi multiple shark bombs via hand signals, referring to them as water style, water shark bomb, fire style, phoenix flower. Itachi proceeded to launch multiple small fireballs at the sharks, causing them to turn into steam. Itachi then charged towards Naruto brandishing a kunai, but Naruto withdrew his own and engaged Itachi. Itachi then grabbed Naruto by the wrist, flipped him, and then disarmed him. Itachi grinned and said, "I win," while Naruto sighed. Itachi laughed as Naruto said, okay, you win," and he got up. "Man, you're strong. You make Zabuza and Orochimaru look like chumps," Naruto added. Itachi remarked, "Well, I was the Anbu commander at 13, but Naruto responded with a smile, "You are improving. Maybe in a few years you can become an Anbu." Naruto said, "Really you think so?" and Itachi gave a nod. Yes, I do believe that Itachi started before he grabbed Naruto and drew him to him, calling him Susanoo. Itachi called forth his flawed Susanoo at the exact moment when a lightning strike occurred. As he dodged an attack, Kisame yelled, "What the hell?" And as he landed next to Naruto and Itachi, he saw a three-bladed scythe where he was just standing. "Naruto! Sword!" Kisame exclaimed, giving Naruto his sword. Naruto said, "What the hell, what's going on?" Itachi and Kisame squinted. Itachi remarked, "Old friends coming to visit." A man in a black cloak with red clouds said, "How surprising," in a deep voice. "A traitor, a dead man, and a container at the same time. How fortunate for us." Another man's voice said, "Hold it, Kakuzu. I want Itachi. He'd make a great sacrifice for Lord Jashin." Hidan received a tick for his religion when Kakuzu remarked, "You and your religion are very annoying." Kisame said to Kakuzu, "Hidan, Kakuzu. What do we owe the pleasure?" before Kakuzu continued. "When we found out you gone traitor, we were dispatched to eliminate you," Kakuzu continued, "but now we see Itachi still breathing in the container of the 9 tails. So, this will make it even more interesting," he stated while removing his cloak. "Take on Hidan there. He doesn't use jutsu, but don't let that fool you, Naruto," Kisame said, grabbing his attention. He continued, "He's immortal and he'll use you for his ritual if you get cut," to which Naruto nodded. Itachi activated his Sharingan and declared, "Me and Kisame will take on Kakuzu. He's by far the bigger threat." Naruto walked towards Hidan and said, "Okay guys. I won't let you down." He then put his blade in front of his body. "You think you can take me, brat?" Hidan chuckled, and Naruto grimaced in response. Clutching his sword, Naruto uttered, "I don't know, but I'm going to try." "Bring it on, asshole," he yelled. At least 50 yards away, Hidan was grinning viciously and bloodthirsty, and Naruto was staring down at him, pondering how he should get closer. In an attempt to get Naruto's attention, "Brat, Kurama uttered the words, "Pump some of my chakra into the blade." In response, Naruto thought, "What? Why?" Following Kurama's words, "Just do it and follow my instructions." Naruto channeled some of the fox's chakra into the blade. Naruto's eyes widened as the blade suddenly changed from having a shiny finish to a glowing red color. Kurama said, "All right, now concentrate on the opponent and swing. I'll take care of the rest." Naruto nodded and raised his sword once more. After that, Kurama directed all of the chakra that had accumulated in the blade in the direction of Hidan as Naruto swung his sword horizontally. When Hidan saw that the red chakra was forming like a blade and hurtling in his direction, he leapt over it to avoid being sliced in two. Upon landing, Hidan turned around to witness the destruction. A minimum of 100 yards of trees had been chopped down behind him. The incisions used to topple the trees had burned, leaving the wood either black or ember-like. Looking back at Naruto, Hidan thought to himself, "Damn, if I got hit with that, I would have been fucked." Naruto thought, "Holy shit, that was cool," and he glanced down at his sword, which had returned to its glossy polish. "What was that?" he inquired. Kurama refocused and saw Hidan running toward him. "It was a concentrated blade of my chakra," Kurama said. "My chakra is corrosive and very potent. When it makes contact it will scorch anything it touches, and that guy is running towards you." Using the cable to guide his scythe, Hidan yelled, "Die you little shit," as he threw it at Naruto. Naruto humped over the scythe and charged at Hidan. Naruto swung his sword at Hidan, who deflected it with his scythe, and the two engaged in a blade combat. Hidan attempted to disarm Naruto by hooking the sword, but Naruto accepted the disarm and closed the distance. After giving Hidan a kick to the face, Naruto cut free his sword from Hidan's scythe and slashed open Hidan's abdomen. When Hidan swung his scythe at Naruto instead of falling, the latter's eyes grew wide. Naruto jumped away, but not before taking a hit. After landing, Naruto glanced down at his ripped jacket. As Hidan pushed his guts back into his body and secured his cloak around the wound to prevent them from spilling out, he glanced at his scythe and thought, "Damn, no blood." As Hidan used the blood streaming down his leg to create a symbol on the ground, he thought, "Oh well, I just need to try again." Naruto caught Hidan's attention by stating, "I guess Kisame wasn't kidding. You really are immortal," he added, to which Hidan laughed. Naruto shook his head in response to Hidan's statement, "So now you see that you cannot win, huh kid?" "No," Naruto responded, adopting his stance. "If I can't defeat you by killing you, then I simply have to chop your ass to pieces," he said, causing Hidan to chuckle. Hidan said, "I'd like to see you try," and lunged toward Naruto once more. Kisame and Itachi together. "Gra!" Kisame exclaimed as he cut through Kakuzu's heart. A lightning bolt struck Kisame from behind, scorching his back. After rising again, Kisame avoided a ball of fire and made the hand gesture. Water style. Water wall. This allowed him to build a wall of water that blocked another fireball from hitting him. Kisame was staring at Kakuzu's fire and lightning hearts when he thought, "Damn it, I was able to take out the wind heart, but now these two assholes are holding me up." Kakuzu felt the destruction of one of his hearts, but he pushed the pain aside and turned his attention back to Itachi, who was now battling the hearts of earth and water. Using the technique known as fire style, fireball jutsu, Itachi shot a fireball at the hearts. The water heart then shot a stream of water at the fireball, causing it to turn into a steam cloud. Itachi took advantage of the opportunity to close in and get involved, pulling out multiple kunai and hurling them at both hearts. Even though all of the kunai touched the hearts, they did not kill them. Itachi noticed Kakuzu approaching and prepared to defend himself. Itachi parried a blow from Kakuzu that was bolstered by earth chakra, but his bones jarred as a result of the blow. Then, Itachi kicked back, striking Kakuzu in the ribs. Kakuzu then grabbed Itachi's leg, pulling him up and slamming him to the ground. After Itachi regurgitated blood, Kakuzu mounted him and proceeded to strike Itachi with punches and elbows, landing on his face. The Earth Heart puppet then turned the tables on Itachi, punching and kicking Kakuzu before having to avoid a boulder that was thrown at him. Itachi landed a short distance away and turned to face Kakuzu. "Impressive, Itachi," said Kakuzu. "This almost reminds me of the time I fought the first Hokage," according to him. Then Itachi spit out a drop of blood and turned to face Kakuzu. Itachi made Kakuzu cock his head by stating, "I'm not going to lie. This is by far the second hardest fight I've been in. He inquired, what was the first? Itachi remarked, when Kisame and Raiga beat me, but that was more due to a surprise attack, which caused Kakuzu to chuckle. Kakuzu said, well, let's see if I can top that. At that moment, the hearts of the earth and the water united and started to swell. Itachi proceeded through hand signals as both hearts then released a mixture of earth and water, creating a wave of mud. Itachi then made a pillar beneath his feet to lift him above the mud wave in earth style. Stone pillars. He then leapt off and passed through hand signs once more. Then, using the technique fire style, phoenix flower, Itachi shot multiple fireballs at Kakuzu and his hearts. Both of his hearts broke apart, but the earthly heart was killed when it was struck by one of the fireballs. Again, Kakuzu winced, thinking, damn, 2 hearts down, only 3 left. Still, he was prepared for his counterattack, thinking that Itachi and Kisame would be good substitutes. Alongside Naruto, both Naruto and Hidan were battling each other with their swords, each attempting to get the upper hand. No matter how many times Naruto cut Hidan on his body, it made no difference because Hidan continued to stand his ground. Hidan was becoming enraged since he hadn't been able to hit Naruto once. His superior blade skill was becoming apparent. Hidan primarily employed his scythe to inflict his wounds on his victims in order to apply his technique. However, Naruto made every effort to avoid being cut, and his blade in particular was very helpful because of how much its thickness functioned as a shield. Then Hidan got an idea. He swung at Naruto, blocking him with his sword. After twisting the blade to draw Naruto closer to him, Hidan bit Naruto on his collar, severing a small piece of flesh. As he kicked Hidan off, Naruto yelled, "Act! Did you just bite me? You fucking psycho!" Naruto then witnessed Hidan change into a form resembling a voodoo doll. Naruto chased after Hidan and was able to slice the back of his legs, causing him to stumble. "Time for your judgment to begin," Hidan said as he started to run back to the symbol he drew on the ground. As Hidan was about to fall, Naruto kicked him. Hidan then used his scythe to hook his sword and take away his weaponry. Without pausing, Naruto punched his way behind Hidan and then grabbed him, choking him. Hidan pulled out his spike and stabbed through himself, striking Naruto as he started to choke on him. Grabbing his sword, Naruto let go and realized he had been stabbed in the stomach. The wound was bleeding, but it was not life-threatening. Then Hidan dashed into the center of the symbol. "It's your turn to make a decision now," Hidan declared before grabbing his spike and stabbing his own left arm. After experiencing intense pain and numbness in his arm, Naruto collapsed to the ground, holding onto his arm. Thinking, what the hell? He turned to face Hidan, who had stabbed himself in a manner akin to how Naruto had been hurt. "Yes, yes, yes," Hidan replied, savoring the rush of adrenaline he was experiencing. Hidan then withdrew the spike, causing Naruto to cry out in agony once more. As he repositioned the spike, Hidan said, "How about the liver next?" He then pointed the spike at his liver and punctured himself. Naruto thought to himself, "Oh god," but he was unable to even scream as he spat blood. Hidan then started to twist and turn the spike, causing Naruto to fall to the ground in pain. Hidan said, "Almost there," with a happy sigh. "Now for the grand finale," he added, removing the spike. Hidan covered his heart with the spike after that. With horror, Naruto observed. This was it. This was where he would die. Then Naruto saw a flash of May in his mind, and he shed a single tear. May? Naruto uttered a gargled, I'm sorry, while observing. Just as Hidan was about to stab himself in the heart, he took a kick to the face and stumbled out of the circle. Naruto then felt the same blow, causing his head to jerk to the side. And with that, Naruto's vision blurred and he slumped to the ground. "Who the fuck are you?" Hidan exclaimed, glancing at the man who had interrupted his ceremony. He was an older man wearing a red haori, an oil-themed headband, and long white hair. With a look of rage on his face, Jiraiya uttered, "The last thing you're going to see before you die." He then turned to face the bloodied Naruto, who was slumped on the ground. "Naruto, hold on. I'll get you some help after I deal with Zombie Boy here," Jiraiya thought, turning back to Hidan. Gripping his sword, Naruto was barely conscious when the world began to spin and eventually went dark. The mindscape of Naruto after realizing he was in a sewer when he opened his eyes, Naruto got to his feet. Naruto asked absently, "Is this the afterlife?" Kinda sucks, to be honest. Naruto turned around to see the nine-tailed fox behind him when he heard a loud chuckle behind him. Kurama told Naruto, "You're not dead yet, boy." Emphasis on yet. "You are most definitely dying." Naruto put his head down and started to feel depressed, irate, and guilty. "I'm dying," Naruto thought to himself. "God damn, I'm never going to be Hokage, I'm never going to see May again." Naruto flinched when he heard, "You're not dead yet, brat." Turning around, he saw Zabuza, a person he hadn't seen in a while, standing there grinning beneath his bandaged face. "Zabuza," said Naruto, "how the hell are you here?" Zabuza laughed in response. "A sword isn't just a weapon, it's the wielder's soul in physical form," declared Zabuza. "Listen up, Naruto. I don't have much time. When Haku died I gave up. I went out in a blaze of glory because the only precious person I had died. I had nothing to live for, but you do. May is still alive and waiting to see you again, brat. So, you gotta fight like hell in order to get to her. If your arms give out, use your legs. If your legs give out, use your teeth. And if your teeth break, use your head as a damn wrecking ball. Do whatever it takes to win. Or die trying," Zabuza said as he turned around. "Oh, and by the way, Haku says hello. And hopefully I won't be seeing you soon," Zabuza said, fading away. "Sorry I can't stick around, kid, I gotta go." Sensing a resurgence of energy, Naruto turned to face Kurama. "He's right, I can't give up yet," Naruto remarked, and Kurama laughed. "Do you have any idea on how to keep me alive?" the fox questioned, his expression thoughtful. "I do have one idea," Kurama responded, "but it will require me to use one tail of chakra. So you will only have 8 tails of chakra left and it will not be able to replenish," he said with a nod. "All right, that's fine with me," Naruto replied. "Let's get started," he said, and Kurama got to work. A fox skull tattoo started to form on Naruto's chest, and a red chakra started to surround him. In actuality, a strong surge of chakra appeared from behind Jiraiya and Hidan as they were still fighting. Naruto was rising off the ground, a cloak of red chakra surrounding him. At that point, the cloak started to mend his wounds and took on new dimensions. It concentrated to create a breastplate, arm guards, shin guards, and a tail. Next, Chakra placed herself atop Naruto's head and fashioned a helmet resembling a fox head, revealing Naruto's red, slitted eyes from behind the mask. Jiraiya thought in horror, "Oh god, did the fox take over? I gotta stop him?" "You're still alive. That's great, I can now," Hidan started, but then a red blur appeared in front of him. Hidan's body and head both crashed to the ground, leaving Naruto standing behind him. Naruto's sword was glowing red, as if it had just been forged. Then, with his foot raised, Naruto plowed down on Hidan's head, crushing it beneath his sandal. Kurama said, "Good kid, you've taken him out now, just kid," but Naruto was not paying attention. His veins were glistening red, his eyes were vacant, and he was panting and grunting like a savage. Kurama yelled, "Kid, listen to me, damn it," but Naruto disregarded him, thinking, "Shit, he's completely lost it. He's never been in this transformation before." With a great roar, Naruto then bolted in the direction that Kisame and Itachi had gone to battle Kakuzu. When Jiraiya saw this, he started to pursue the feral Naruto, thinking to himself, "Damn it, what did I walk into?" Kisame and Itachi together, both Itachi and Kisame were engaged in hand combat with Kakuzu and his final heart, the Fire Heart. Kisame was going up against the Fire Heart. Itachi stepped in between hand signals and was about to launch a fireball when something crashed behind him. Itachi then blocked another punch from Kakuzu and kicked Kakuzu away in retaliation. Turning around, Itachi saw Naruto brandishing his red, glow-in-the-dark blade while donning red chakra armor. "Oh my god, what happened?" Itachi thought to himself. Gazing at Naruto, Kakuzu also started to feel uneasy, thinking, "That's the Kyuubi container. What happened to him?" And Kakuzu wondered, "Where is Hidan?" Then, with a ferocious scream, Naruto charged towards Kakuzu. Kakuzu responded by using the earth chakra to charge his fist and holding back until Naruto was within reach. Then, with all of his might, Kakuzu punched Naruto, sending him crashing into a boulder. Kakuzu remained vigilant and watched to see what would happen. With his left hand holding his sword, Naruto crawled out of the boulder. His left leg was twisted to the side, and his right arm was broken 90 degrees backward. After that, Naruto stood up and put on a repulsive show. His leg twisted back into place with a sickening crackle, and his broken arm snapped back into place with a wet pop. Itachi thought, did the armor just fix his wounds? Despite having a strong stomach, that display almost made him want to throw up. As Kakuzu was getting ready, he said, "How disturbing," and Naruto charged at him again. Kakuzu tried to punch Naruto in the chest after Naruto slashed at him with his sword, but Kakuzu blocked it with his arm that had hardened. The majority of the blow was absorbed by the chakra armor. Although Naruto coughed up blood, indicating internal damage, the punch would have been lethal to a normal person. Just as Kakuzu was about to attack again, Itachi kicked him, causing him to skid across the ground. Itachi then made the hand signals for fire-style fireball, starting up until Naruto kicked him, propelling the fireball skyward. When Naruto charged at Kakuzu, he was taken aback that his own teammate had been attacked, and he became defensive again. Just as he was about to make love, Kakuzu felt his body become cold. After Kisame killed Kakuzu with a final heart slash from Samahata, the man started to run towards Itachi, arriving just in time to see Naruto. Naruto split Kakuzu in half, sending his upper body hurtling through the air. Naruto leapt after the upper body and came to rest in front of it. After that, Naruto started to slash and hack the body like a ferocious animal, but his sword stopped as soon as it made contact. Kisame yelled, "Naruto, stop. It's over, it's." Before Naruto slashed at him, slightly nicking him. When Kisame looked down and saw that the cut was cauterized, he thought, fucking hell. Then, as he made his way to Kisame to resume the battle, Naruto started to waver. Then, calling forth his Susanoo, Itachi grabbed Naruto and held him motionless with its arm. "Jiraiya now," Itachi yelled. Then, Jiraiya, who was standing beside Itachi, approached Naruto while brandishing a Rasengan. Jiraiya yelled, "Arga," as he applied the Rasengan to Naruto's breastplate. The armor cracked but remained intact. Then, in an attempt to escape, Naruto went crazy and started fighting Itachi's Susanoo. "It didn't shatter," Jiraiya exclaimed. Kisame yelled, "Move," and he dashed forward, bringing Samahata back and slamming it against the broken breastplate. It suffered more damage from Samahata's capacity to devour chakras. Itachi, straining to hold Naruto, yelled, "Keep going. I can't hold him much longer." Kisame then started to use his sword as a club in an attempt to break the armor. Naruto's stomach was finally visible when the armor finally broke after almost 10 hits. As he completed the 5-pronged seal, Jiraiya said, "Okay, I got this." He then slammed his hand into Naruto's stomach, creating a seal over his own seal. For several more seconds, Naruto fought until the red chakra armor vanished and he fell forward, unconscious. Jiraiya looked down at Naruto and said, "Holy shit," adding that Itachi had cancelled his Susanoo and allowed Naruto to fall into his arms. "Hey look," Kisame exclaimed, gesturing to Naruto's broken left leg and right arm. "Shouldn't those be healed?" he asked, as Itachi approached. Gazing at Naruto, Itachi remarked, "I saw them being snapped back into place. It looks like the armor doesn't heal him, it just holds him together." After adjusting Naruto, Jiraiya turned to face Itachi and Kisame. "Both of you collect Naruto's sword and the bodies." Jiraiya responded. "We are taking Naruto back to Konoha. I need to see the seal, check in with the Hokage and try and find out why one of my spies and an S-class missing ninja is doing training Naruto," he said with a scowl. Kisame made Itachi and Jiraiya perspire. "First off, ass wipe, I'm a B-class missing ninja now. So, eat a dick," he added. "Second, I'm his second sensei." Itachi cleared his throat just as Jiraiya and Kisame were staring at each other with lightning speed. Naruto. Hospital, he uttered, and the two men turned to face Naruto before scowling and leaving. Itachi sighed, sigh. "I'm surrounded by men who act like children," and left to get Hidan's body, leaving Kisame to take care of Kakuzu. Konoha Medical Center with a moan. Naruto opened his eyes in his hospital bed and saw Kisame seated in a chair next to the bed, Naruto's sword resting next to him. Then Naruto noticed Itachi standing there, staring down at him while wearing bandages over his arm. Weakly, Naruto said, "Itachi, Kisame, where are we?" "Back in Konoha, kid," Kisame replied. "You got pretty fucked up, didn't want you to die so we came back here," he replied. Naruto's leg and arm were in a cast when he looked down. Naruto questioned, When did I break those? I thought I got stabbed. Itachi then spoke. Itachi said, you broke those when you fought Kakuzu. Don't you remember? Naruto shook his head. Itachi sighed and Naruto asked, how long was I out? You should still be able to compete in the Chunin exams in 2 weeks, Itachi said. A week, which caused Naruto's eyes to widen. Your chakra system was fried. Your advanced healing is back, Itachi added, and Naruto nodded. At that moment, the door opened, letting in Hiruzen and an elderly man with white hair who Naruto was unfamiliar with. Thank you, Kami, for waking up. Jiraiya approached Naruto. Naruto asked, who are you? And Hiruzen answered. This is Jiraiya, my former pupil, Hiruzen remarked, interrupting Jiraiya's foolish introduction. I sent Jiraiya to the village to assist you with your training, but it appears that he was required to support you in your battle, Hiruzen remarked, approaching Jiraiya. As Jiraiya approached him, he said, Naruto, adding, I just want to tell you not to use that technique anymore. It did a lot of damage to you. Naruto nodded in response. Naruto turned pale as he said, the last thing we need is for you to kill yourself or someone else by going on another rampage. Jiraiya turned to face Itachi as Naruto asked, rampage, what do you mean? Itachi remarked, he doesn't remember Jiraiya, and Jiraiya gave a nod. Naruto, Jiraiya said, I was brought here to train you, and that's what I'm going to do. Kisame and Itachi will prepare you for the Chunin exams once you're healed, which caused Naruto to grin. Naruto nodded as he continued, and once that's done, we will help you master that new technique of yours. Jiraiya nodded in agreement when Naruto said, gee thanks. Jiraiya then took a book out of his pocket. Before leaving, Jiraiya said, here's some reading material while you rest up. Upon closer inspection, Naruto discovered that the book was a signed copy of Ichiraku Paradise. Itachi, Kisame, and Hiruzen laughed as Naruto exclaimed, what the hell? He's the guy who writes Kakashi's porn books, he said. Kabuto's laboratory in Otogakure. What is the status of the preparations? Kabuto inquired of an Oto commander. The commander stated, we are almost done, Lord Kabuto. We have doubled the size of our invasion force and gotten more samples as requested. Kabuto nodded in agreement. Kabuto adjusted his glasses and said, good, good. We will avenge Lord Orochimaru and see his dream come true, Kabuto added. As the commander left the room, Kabuto uttered the words, we will destroy the hidden leaf, kill the Hokage and the newly appointed Mizukage. Now leave me. I must continue my preparations. As he carried out his experiments, Kabuto thought, you will soon know the wrath of Oto.
That's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed this great story. See you in the next one.